Recording
Recording
started.
in progress.
Yeah.
Recording.
Is the music like crazy loud for everybody or
Not
It's a
really.
little loud.
okay, I'll turn it down like
Literally
1%.
like a smidge, yeah.
That
Yeah, I was
fine?
gonna say just a tiny bit.
I can't hear
Yeah.
it now.
Yeah, it's a little
Personally,
quiet now.
Yeah, now it's a little quiet.
Fucking can't do anything right around here.
Yeah.
Really, like really Goldilocksing it. Yeah, that's fine.
Just right. Okay, so before we get in, I would like to compel you all to join me for a little what is it? A little warm up, a little icebreaker, if you will, inspired by one of a question that our good friend Sam asked in the group chat of the Witch's Sanctuary campaign. I would like to ask everyone if the winter holidays were canon in Echoes in any capacity, what would your character's sort of like method of celebration of choice be? Give you guys a minute to think about that, but I compel you all to answer when you feel compelled.
Okay, I was waiting to be.
Yeah.
Literally,
I
everyone was
feel
silent.
I feel like at the in Gwyn's household, not only is it probably like very traditional, like, like all like get together and like, have a big meal or whatnot. I know I think I've mentioned this just like in passing before. There is no way Gwyn is not the Santa of her household, who the moment all of the kids are asleep immediately is like, all right, we're getting all these presents ready. And just like completely setting everything up.
Yeah, checks out for the Talesian Bible Belt, low-key.
Yeah. Has probably gone to one of her siblings at some point and been like, I heard Santa is really hankering for this type of cookie this year, without ever explaining why.
Love.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think I have an answer to this. I think in terms of like celebrating the winter holidays or Christmas, I think it would be an example of like just finding like some dingy old spot or like a bar or whatever, and just getting like just like finding some sort of area where there's like a good amount of people and just grabbing a hot chocolate and hanging out and just sort of existing in the background, just kind of being in the atmosphere. Because I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Here, have a hot chalky because you're epic, Aidan.
Yeah,
I,
pretty
I had
much.
a very similar answer in mind, in which Aldo doesn't really participate, but he enjoys watching.
Yeah,
So
fair
he
enough.
kind of like, I imagine like the guild hall, and he's like by the fire with like his beverage. And he's kind of just like watching other people share gifts, and they're like, "Oh, did you enjoy it?" And he's like, "No, I'm good." And he likes being around there and like liking people being happy. So yeah, he sits around and watches.
I feel like I don't think they're all the world select, but like everybody who lives in the area where Kirly lived, that I can't remember the name of right now, certainly had some sort of like specific way to celebrate with the community. I'm not quite sure what it is. Virtue Woods, thank you.
I think Lowen, in a very like single parent, one child sort of way, I think it's a very like I don't think Lowen's dad is very like plans ahead for like maybe like does up like his business for like holiday stuff, but is very like that's just for like for the customers, but just has like one little tree, and like that's like the one day where like the work can stop and they can just like enjoy each other's company. It's very low key, but that's what Lowen loves.
I think Icarus's family is very similar in that it's like the one day where work stops. Like his parents specifically are like, no one fucking call me this day, turning pagers off, etc. And that is like the one day where Icarus and his parents really spend time together. And it's kind of awkward and weird in a way that like three people in like this huge dining room made for parties is, but
Mhm.
it's its own kind of like tender, I guess.
Real. All right, well, thank you all so much for indulging, as always. With all of that said and done, Desmond, you ready to play some D&D?
Yeah.
Charles, you ready?
Yeah.
Aidan, you ready? Sunny, you ready? Laura, are you ready?
Yep.
And Kylie, somewhere in the mist, are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Last, where we left off, in the forests of Talus. With a pulse-pounding excursion into the tangles of Kurios Woods behind them, our dearest aspiring adventurers set aside their trials for an evening of celebration, surrounded by like-minded guildsfolk and their eclectic peers-to-be. For some, the bonfire was a night of taking chances, opening doors, paving the way for promises beyond their blossoming apprenticeships. For others, emotions prevailed against the raucous atmosphere, leaving relationships strengthened and strained alike. And for others still, it was simply a golden opportunity to leave inhibitions to the wind, party like never before, and get fucking drunk. Though the meddling of a certain disgraced exploration team and a revelation surrounding an apprentice of their own proved an awkward closer to the gathering, there was little to do in souring the spirits for those beginning to forge meaningful bonds with their guildmates, be they fellow apprentices or administration alike. Thus, with the evening's excitement behind them, our explorers of tomorrow laid their heads to rest, blissfully unaware of how quickly their training would soon begin. So, first question to all of you here. I would like to know, who of you six, realistically speaking, given, how hard or, not super hard you might have gone the previous night, who do you think amongst y'all is awake first?
Raven's up at 6 a.m. That man is like on it.
I believe you, frankly.
Lowen's like very like opening shift oriented, but like for this time it's just a little bit later because he is a little hungover. Didn't have a lot, so it just kind of hit and went. But he's a little hungover.
I was gonna say Gwen's probably in a very similar boat of tries to wake up early, but because last night was the first time she ever had alcohol and had a lot of it, she probably feels like shit.
Yeah, what about everyone else? When do you think Kirly is up, Laura?
Probably somewhere in the middle, because if I remember, I did have some, but it was more emotionally taxing than anything else.
That's crazy.
I was bullied.
So like a solid like 9, you would say?
Probably.
Yeah. What about Icarus?
I think Icarus is probably also like 8 or 9. He didn't have anything to drink, so he's just chilling.
And Aldo, who we kind of agree. Did Aldo skip the festivities entirely in his absence, or you're muted?
Sorry, there's a loud car that drove by earlier, so I muted. I think Aldo's the only person that he had to go to the bonfire, so I think he went until he realized he wasn't needed, and then just Irish goodbye and went back to the guild hall.
Aldo was the first one to dip. Got it.
Yeah. So I think he wakes up pretty early because he's not intoxicated and got in pretty early, so he's like 7:30-ish.
Real. So, with that decided then, Kylie, we're going to start with you. As the morning sun is just beginning to make its arc across the sky, with the sort of early autumn breeze percolating throughout Talus, this sort of faint pale blue begins to paint the sky above. Draven, as you're the first person up, first of all, how are you feeling? Just a little check-in for everyone in character. How's everyone feeling, and what is Draven thinking?
I mean, I feel like most of his mind is probably just on general, because it's a little awkward because I wasn't here for the last like 20 minutes, but I know we're in like prep mode, so to speak. So I think
Spoiler alert, you didn't really miss that much, like
I
for that
figured.
Draven would know about.
Yeah, so because we have like a mission thing going on.
Yeah,
Yes, correct?
we'll talk about that in
Potentially?
just a sec.
Okay, cool. Um, I mean, probably just like going through general routine of like those kinds of people where it's like you'll wake up at 9 and there's somebody who's been up for like 3 hours and has already like gone on a run and you're like, how are you alive? Like, it's like that. It's like that.
Yeah, Draven, as the first person up of the party, and also between you and Nico, definitely the first up. Around the time you wake up, you turn to Nico's bed, and they're just for like passed out on the bed. Bro is absolutely eepy. You are the first person to notice a card lying on the floor of your dormitory, small enough to fit under the crack of the door, small enough to like maybe fit in your hand. When you pick it up, it reads the following: Apprentices, hope you've rested well since the bonfire. You're going to want to have your wits about you in due time. Wash up, get some breakfast in your system, and check in with yourself before checking in with your peers. Guildmaster's orders. Once all is said and done, when the sun's highest in the sky, pack whatever gear you deem necessary for exploration, and find me and the Deputy Guildmasters at the edge of Kurios Woods just east of the Guild. Your first mission, as apprentices of the Titan's Coven, await. Best be ready. There's a little smiley face drawn next to it. Guildmaster Lennox, written in particularly awful cursive, you notice at the very bottom.
Okay, so picks it up, reads it, is just like, okay, prep, then breakfast, check in on everybody else, see if they're here, move out. Like, it's just like a mental list of like, okay, grab all my crap, look on the desk, see if there's anything there that I still need, make sure that we've got everything, go get breakfast, chill out for like an hour, maybe just wait and see if people are around, and then move out. Like, it's more so list of priorities. There's there's no real, I don't know. There's downtime, but like, what else are you gonna do?
That's really funny because highest in the sky is basically like coded for noon. If Draven's doing all
Yeah,
this,
no, he's just gonna
he's gonna be sitting
chill.
there for like 4 hours, like.
Yeah.
All right, lovely. Draven, you start to do your little sweep of the room, maybe trying to prevent yourself from waking up Nico. You grab your stuff and you head down to breakfast. I'm gonna say next up at this point is probably gonna be Gwen, if I had to guess. So, Gwen, as you feel yourself starting to rise out of your bed, first of all, I'm gonna need a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, you got it. All right, grab my dice.
Lowen, if you can do this now, actually, while we're at it, Lowen, can I get that from you as well? Kirly, I don't think you got drunk enough to warrant this necessarily.
All right, I have checked. I've rolled a 13.
13. Okay, so Gwen, I think, is okay in that case. You wake up with a bit of a... Desmond, tell me what you got when we get to Lowen. Gwen, you wake up with like the faintest shred of a headache. Nothing that you've not experienced before, even though the reasoning might be a little different. But nonetheless, you are a little groggier than usual, given that you're typically an earlier riser. But nonetheless, you are up and at 'em. To, I think, nobody's surprise, Ronnie is out cold. Probably not going to get up until right before necessary. Gwen, as you haul yourself out of bed, you too see the same letter sitting on the floor of your dorm. As you read it, take in that information, what's Gwen thinking and how's she feeling?
Okay, so I think she is tired. I think she needs to just like take like 2 hours to just like freshen up and get herself in a good headspace. That is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, so real. Fair enough. Yeah, Gwen, you head off to get ready. It's a much longer affair, but nonetheless, you get an early head start on all that. Who do you guys think would wake up next then, chronologically? We said Lowen, probably? So, first of all, what did Lowen get on that con save?
14.
Okay, so I think same as Gwen. Lowen, you wake up at around like 7:30, and you're not feeling as bad as you could have, but definitely not great. There's again a little bit of a headache. You're a little groggier than usual, but nonetheless, as you wake up, get your wits about you, as you find the letter sitting on the floor of your dorm, what's Lowen thinking? How's he doing?
Uh, Lowen's feeling all right. I think clear of mind. I think he got in terms of relationships builded upon or like just like grown. He's feeling pretty good about yeah, feels pretty good about like where he left that bonfire. He's going to once he sees Rufus, he's going to make a very formal apology. Acting a fool. But he's feeling all right, and seeing the letter, I'm assuming is Katrina like still like asleep or?
I think Katrina is like starting to get up around the same time as you. As she hears you getting out of bed, like headed over to.
Oh, she wouldn't hear. If Lowen sees Katrina asleep, it's like I am not. Lowen's like I won't make a sound, not even like a peep. Just like very like so slow to like and like picking up the letter and like.
Give me a stealth check real quick.
Real. Dirty 20.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Katrina is sleeping like the dead as you near soundlessly hop off your bed and reach the letter.
So meticulous.
And then all of a sudden,
the broom.
literally.
I think seeing that notice, it's very like serious mode, and like his first thing is to like, okay, let's get ready, I make sure I'm on task. But if Katrina's still asleep, he's gonna do all of his very serious like prep work in the room very slowly.
Yeah.
So it's gonna take a while until he actually like leaves the room to like get breakfast and all that, to like actually like get all of his stuff together.
Love. Yeah, I think at a certain point, Katrina just wakes up naturally while you're sort of getting stuff together as you're about to leave breakfast. As she
Was that
sort
too
of
loud?
like.
How was it?
Oh, morning.
Was it
Yeah.
too loud? Was that?
Oh, no, you're good. I usually like wake up this early. What's going on?
Okay. I got this. Show the letter off.
Can you pass me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it just for myself? Is it for Katrina?
It's for you reckon, given that it's addressed to apprentices, you imagine that.
Okay.
It's
Oh yeah. So I would then like
You see she like through like sand covered eyes. You see she like reads it. Oh shoot! Hands it back to you. Hops out of bed.
I should get ready. All right, thank you.
As she
I didn't want.
darts out of the
It
room.
was like for. Oh, okay. Bye.
Yeah. With that, we're gonna say Aldo. We're gonna say it's you next. Aldo, as you emerge from your shell.
I don't know if Rufus is awake before Aldo, but if he is, he hears Aldo's alarm going off. And I think he looks across the room and he realizes the alarm is going off inside of Aldo's shell. Like reverbing from inside of Aldo's shell.
Yeah, Aldo, you after a minute you slither out. You see Rufus is on his feet. He's clearly been awake for a while, but he seems to be like just finishing getting his stuff together before he leaves. He's looking at you with a look of confusion as morning. As he turns back to his stuff, he plucks you see a little card between his claws. You might want to take a look at this as he like passes it to you.
Aldo has no hand-eye coordination. It goes right past him.
He like just grabs your little arm and just
Thank you.
yeah, whatever.
It's sticky.
Yeah, I'll see you later. As he leaves as the scrape of his great sword becomes more and more distant the further he gets from your dorm. As you take in this information, as you're reading, Aldo, how's he doing? How's he feeling?
I think Aldo's okay. I think he's scraping by. He's doing what he thinks he should be doing. His etiquette lessons are surely doing okay. His book has not yet failed him wrong. And by not failed him wrong, like, as in no one has gone, you've offended me, which is Aldo's only way of knowing if he's offended someone. Yeah, I think he reads the thing and he's like, oh, beautiful. We've already been here. We have a tactical advantage. And then just like starts packing his stuff. Pure robot kind of mentality of, okay, like, we have a task to execute. Starts getting various old mage components. I think he's gonna go back to the library because he has a book already of like Kurios Woods stuff.
Yeah, you do.
I know this interesting has like a map of Kurios Woods. I was wondering if there was like, because there's the dungeons work in weird ways.
Yeah, babe, if you're expecting a map of the mystery dungeon,
No.
there is a slightly outdated map of Remnant in some of the surrounding areas, but the forest itself is completely uncharted.
Right. I wasn't looking for a map, but I was looking for anything that would, as Aldo things, give him advantage that he can get from the library, other than the book that he already has about the woods.
Give me a investigation check.
Wonderful. 10.
On a 10, it's hard not to find texts on mystery dungeons, on exploration. It's just kind of hard finding the right ones. But you do get a couple of like general texts that sort of break down like the sort of the very basics of exploration. It's not as specific or as fruitful to this particular mission that you might hope it would be, but it's a start, and the start's better than nothing.
It's better than I had before, so I'm just gonna start packing my stuff and just start
Real, yeah.
sliding towards breakfast.
Do y'all think Icarus or Kirly would be up sooner? I hate asking people to make decisions. All right, Kirly, you're up first. At around 9 o'clock, Kirly, you get up, you look over, and you see that Flicker has already woken up and left, leaving you to your own devices in the room. However, you see that a note has been left on your desk with this same sort of embroidering with the guild seal holding it closed. Once you've read it, clocked all that information, tell me, how's Kirly doing?
Emotionally damaged.
Crazy. Has one bad conversation with someone.
No, she was lying
literally
awake
me.
a lot of the night thinking about like how maybe she is right. I mean, this is after all some of her first contact outside of her family, and she can't imagine anyone thinking that's worthless. But she has to think about what that, like, does she listen or does she not? And she's not going to, but she thinks about it.
Yeah, a little doubt creeping in. I see. Well, Kirly, you set off to your morning preparations, leaving Icarus. Icarus, you get up like 9:30, maybe like a little closer to 10. Your much needed beauty sleep after after the previous evening. As you're alone in the room, as you see Batista got up at some point before you, leaving you to your own devices.
That is so surprising to me.
Once again, the note has been placed very gently upon your desk with a little extra piece of paper with a note that Batista left saying, "Hi, read this, Batista." Once you've done so, tell me, how is Icarus doing this fine morning?
I think Icarus reads that letter and he's just like, okay. And doesn't really think about it much. I think he's more worried about the interaction that he had last night, and that's what's on the forefront of his mind. and he's thinking about the sending stone in his mattress. And it's like, fuck. Just hoping to God no one finds out. So I think he's stressed about other things. I think
Fair.
he feels like he's got this in the bag, but he just Stoneface gets ready in no particular rush.
As a little uncertainty creeps in for Icarus, we eventually all find ourselves coalescing upon the main guild hall again. Be it people start arriving at around 7, 9, or 10. Sooner or later, everyone makes their way there. And once people start getting there at around like starting at around like 8, 8:30, breakfast is well underway. Whoever would be showing up near the beginning of breakfast, that would probably be like Draven, Gwyn, maybe Lowen, depending on how quickly he gets ready. You'll find that the guild is much less packed than it was before, given that, you imagine that a lot of the hubbub from yesterday has yet to really begin now that it's earlier in the morning. Plus, this being more of a guild, sort of a meal delegated to people living in the guild rather than just the entire guild, period. You see that there are a couple of familiar faces, but the hall is a lot less crowded. Tables have been set up buffet style as per usual. You see Sinclair, the Cadabra, who was manning the concession stand during the bonfire, is in charge of handling breakfast, effortlessly floating forks and knives and plates towards people and making sure that it goes smoothly as a factory. Sooner or later, by like 10 in the morning, give or take, all 6 of you find yourselves upon breakfast at the guild. I think it would be probably Icarus who arrives last, assuming that he is assuming all of you are indeed going to breakfast. There's a little, what is kind of been sequestered as an unofficial apprentices table to the far right of the guild, has been sectioned off for the 6 of you over the course of those hour and a half. You see that Batista and Flicker are already there. Batista making conversation, Flicker not so much. More so, seems much more focused on everything in front of her. Katrina is there too, along everyone else. So once you guys get to breakfast, what do you guys do?
I think Aldo is really annoying because he has a salt allergy, so he has to each day go up to. You said Sinclair was the guy name who's the chef?
Yeah, Sinclair.
Yeah. Excuse me, I have an allergy.
So what exactly?
Salt. I told you this yesterday and the day before that. Aldo has to do it every single day because Sinclair forgets every single day.
Right. Well, I'll make you a plate real quick. Scoops up some eggs and some fruit, and then snaps his fingers. You see that a shine falls over your eggs, as suddenly there is a pile of salt in Sinclair's hand. Yeah, here you go.
My new favorite thing is that if Aldo does come in direct contact with salt, it doesn't kill him. It just makes him
violently ill.
He's just
yeah, he hands you your plate. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Aldo has to do that every single day.
Batista is watching this from the table. Golly gee, eggs without salt. It's like a world without rain.
Lowen's gonna go and hang out with Katrina, and we'll also I think out of the group at this point, would also want to hang out with Draven, Guinevere. Those are those are the folks that feels the kind of closest to Guinevere, just kind of on vibes, but more Katrina and Draven more on actual conversations had. He's got this up there.
This is a great day for me. Lowen vibes with me.
You've passed the vibe check. Congratulations.
I think Icarus is. I'm assuming Aldo probably isn't really talking much.
Shocker. No, he isn't.
Yeah, Icarus is sitting next to Aldo. And he's just gonna eat silently.
They're just eating it.
I
Aldo's
imagine
best friend.
on the other side of Aldo is Flicker, and they're all just like a row of people eating in complete like stoic silence.
My best friends.
Yeah.
Aldo's best friends.
We need to make one of those like images that's like, which table are you sitting at? And it's one of them is just these
The
three
non-verbal table.
The nonverbal table.
non-verbal tables.
Yeah, Lowen, Katrina like leans into you at a certain point, like looking at those other three. Yeah, they're not exactly talkers, are they?
Not really. I kind of don't know what they're thinking sometimes. Dick looks away from Icarus.
If Icarus hears any of this, he's just staring.
Icarus, give me an intimidation check real quick.
Shit.
Absolutely. Let me pull up
Oh
my
god.
character sheet.
I think Aldo just happens to be just blankly staring in that direction anyway. But
The help
Oh,
action
well,
is insane.
Just the slow head turn.
Oh, well that's a nat 1 for a 9.
Wow.
There's a weird place to say how do you fuck this up. So instead I'm going to say like what is
He's
the
not
effect
even
here?
trying.
What is the effect here?
Here's the thing, Icarus isn't even necessarily trying to intimidate them to shut up. He's just kind of staring at them to be like, I can hear you. But I think because it's a natural 1, I think it comes across as just someone staring at you without realizing that they're staring at you. Like someone zoned out.
Lo is absolutely like, I'm sorry, do you need something?
Icarus just... What?
I sorry, you're just looking this way, and I don't. We react. Do you want? I'm sorry. He was kind of expectant, looking at Katrina like.
She just waves.
Icarus just like... And then just... Okay. Weirdos.
You said wait, Desmond. You said Lowen is sitting near Draven, right?
If like we'll go to Katrina, and if Draven is also there, we'll be like,
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I think he probably got here like way early, and just sitting like, you know, like those little like park bench tables. He's sitting on like the corner of it because he knows he takes up a lot of space, so he's like just a little bit off of the seat.
I mean, the apprentice table, you can sit here.
Yeah, I just didn't want to take up a lot of space because like we have.
Oh, Draven, come on now. We're all taking up space over here. Come on.
Yeah.
Just sort of like shuffles in, fully on like his second plate of eggs and like maybe some sausage or whatever. If there's conversation going on, he's just like shoveling this food into his mouth and occasionally like making stupid pointed comments while gesturing with a fork.
Bro is fucking Gastoning it over here.
How do you think he got so big?
Flicker without even looking up. Don't talk with your mouth full. It's not becoming of you.
it says that in my etiquette book.
Icarus just like...
A terse nod from Flicker, Aldo.
I think Aldo finishes eating and pulls out the most insanely massive tome and like slams it against the table without realizing.
What?
I feel
What is that?
I think one of the books Aldo found in the library was just like testimonials of people who have gone into the woods. So it's mostly just like former guild members rambling for like paragraphs and paragraphs, and I'll just try to make sense of it.
Yeah, Flicker is like fully like looking over your shoulder, like,
This is about later today then.
Yeah, just gathering research.
Smart. Very smart. I feel rather confident about the affair, especially given our general familiarity with the forest at this point.
You never know.
Well, I'm sure you all are a little more familiar in that regard.
She kind of like sweeps over everyone with a bit of disdain in her voice.
Yes, is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing?
Hi, Kirly.
Oh yes, is that a bad thing?
Cannot deal with the confrontation. Hello.
Aldo does not realize it's confrontation. It's the best
Icarus
part.
realizes it's
Aldo's genuinely
confrontation.
asking.
As Lowen and Kirly begin breaking up the tension, very quietly, Flicker just says, "Just means I'm gonna have to work a little harder."
I feel
I
like
don't
Gwen has
know.
been sitting here making small talk and is just trying to hide the fact that she is fucking tired.
Yeah, I don't know how well you're necessarily doing it.
Yeah, no, she probably has like visible bags under her eyes.
Oh. Under her like flaming eyes.
Yeah.
It's armor. How did you do that?
I don't know.
That's how tired she is.
That's how tired.
She's just
Well,
cradling
you
like a
say.
coffee or whatever, just like
What did you say, Aldo? Aldo, what did you say?
Oh, I said, Gwen, are you resting?
I don't. She looks at whatever armor she's on. I don't think this is a metal that can rust.
Well, I sure hope not.
I think Aldo jots it down on a piece of paper and puts it into a shell.
Yeah, I mean, gold is used a lot, and gold, never corrodes. It's kind of its thing. Aspen comes in.
Aspen comes in, everything rusts, Guinevere, and then steals everyone's eggs and flies away.
Straight my bucket!
It's such a missed opportunity because of course they don't live here. They're not coming to breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah. As breakfast is sort of starting to wrap up amongst everyone, an hour and a half of some of the most stilted small talk of your life. Can I get an insight check from everyone?
Or
And raise your hand if you meet or beat a 12.
Meet or beat what?
A 12.
Guys, Aldo has no social skills, and yet I rolled a 25.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
oh my god, I thought my 19 was impressive.
Bruh.
Yeah, no, I got a 6.
Bro,
Yeah,
dude, Draven got those fucking eggs.
Ah,
I got
Bro,
a
he
2.
is just going
I got
at it. He's on,
two.
like his fourth plate.
is that with your wisdom?
No, that's before I added it.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
so still probably not passing. And Icarus, I'm assuming, no? Yeah. Draven has a red arrow pointing to him that just says full of eggs, while I think Icarus is focusing on literally anything else, and Kirly's just sad. But Gwyn, Aldo, and Lowen, you guys pick up on a vibe that's a little different from what you sort of noticed during your first meal at the guild the previous day. A little bit of anxiety. Not anxiety in terms of dread or fear, but a bit of anticipation among some of the guild members. You start to notice that more guild members are starting to filter in, many who weren't even at breakfast to begin with, who are sort of just like hanging around the guild. A lot of them, if you got a higher than an 18, you would notice that a lot of them are gathered around the bulletin boards on the other side of the room. Not specifically looking at them right now, though some definitely are, but there seems to be a bit of a draw towards that part of the guild. Do with that what you will.
Vibe in here is kind of weird, don't y'all think?
A little,
No.
yeah.
Aldo's blank staring toward the bulletin board. Oh yeah. I wonder.
What are you looking at?
Wait. What are you guys talking about?
God.
Aldo slides over
Eggs
on the plate of
flying
eggs
all
towards Draven.
flying across the table.
Lowen
thing is-
cleans off all the eggs that's on the table
Oh,
instinctively.
My bad.
Oh my
It's
god,
okay,
you
it's
didn't get
okay.
that on your
I got
tail?
They're bad indeed.
My spotless tail is like it doesn't like it just kind of like brushes stuff off. It's just kind of what it does. Oh. I cast prestidigitation and clean this 10 square foot.
True.
Eggs gone.
Eggs are gone.
Yeah, you get rid of everyone's uneaten eggs too.
No.
Looking sadly at her plate.
Aldo recites word for word a formal excuse from the dinner table from his etiquette book, and then it's so scripted, and then slides across towards the bulletin board.
Why did he say he's excusing himself from dinner? It's breakfast.
Aldo couldn't find the right page in time. He got flustered and just went.
Is anyone going to follow Aldo, or?
Yeah, I think Icarus would follow.
I'll head over there in a second. Anybody
I'll
have
follow.
anybody have plates? Y'all want me to grab plates? I can take y'all plates.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
to,
sure.
like,
Sure.
I can deal with my own plate. That's all right.
Just fully 180s, puts the plates down, walks over to the board.
Icarus? Yeah, Icarus fully left his plate there.
Boo. Yeah, as the three of you, Aldo, Icarus, Draven, sort of amble over, you all hear a little bit of like excited conversation here and there from some of the members of the guild. So you're thinking there's going to be any new faces on the list, or yeah, I'm hoping that I can maybe like take a mission or two here and there if there are any over by Slipstream Pyramid. I've been wanting to go there for a little bit. You all sort of pick up that the bulletin board is about to have a little changeover, as you sort of clock that the bulletin board for both mission postings and outlaw postings are changed twice a week, or updated twice a week, rather. Mostly for obviously the ones of any postings for missions that have already been completed or outlaws that have already been apprehended, those are cleared. But for the most part, this whole like sorting process happens twice, maybe 3 times every week, and it seems that you all are on the precipice of a certain changeover, as after a couple of minutes, you hear from the back of the room, "All right, everyone back up." You all see Sinclair, who has finished packing up for breakfast, is ambling over with a manila folder full of like pieces of paper with, drawings and mission postings on them. You watch as he like gestures everyone to give him like a solid 5 feet of space. Before he sort of kind of nonchalantly opens the folder, and with a twist of his wrist, suddenly papers and pins are flying on and off of the board in dramatic, flurried fashion. You see dozens of papers being resorted and reorganized around the board, some returning to the folder, some flying from the folder onto the board, newly updated. And you hear the of like different like push pins being like restuck onto the bulletin board, explaining why people need to keep their distance in the first place. After about 30 seconds, he stops, and all of a sudden there's just fresh paper laden across both bulletin boards. He clears his throat, tilts one of the papers to straighten it up, turns around. "I've had it." Closes the folder and teleports away, as every single member of the guild who is there rushes towards the board.
That's what I guess that's why.
I would like to go to the board.
Lovely. So Lowen and Draven, you're also gonna give it a look, or?
I'll take a
If
peek with
Draven-
Aldo as well.
Dude.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Once everyone else is like, yeah.
great. I guess everyone is then. Can I get a group investigation check? And please put your number in the chat.
I
Is that
will
investigation?
Investigation.
If this changes anything, Icarus is floating above everyone else.
Good for you. You're gonna see it a little sooner.
No, he's annoying.
Ooh, that's a Lowen is sad. Oh my god.
We're fighting for the bottom.
I like to think that Lowen and I go to look at the same time and just like clock heads.
Well, I don't know how that works.
Lowen is like scrambling like over like up on Gwyn's shoulders and like it throws them off their balance.
We just eat shit.
Aw.
Kirly, we land on
Kirly as
Kirly.
well.
Terrible day for the Curly
We're
fandom.
bumping.
No.
Never a good day.
Very good day for the Aspen fandom.
Woohoo! So
Woohoo!
Draven,
Everything
Icarus,
rocks.
and Aldo, you all. So first of all, Kirly, Gwyn, Lowen, you guys like. Even like with such low rolls, you do see the board. You do kind of scan some of the names and faces that have appeared. A myriad of various mission postings for different parts of Talos and different mystery dungeons have cropped up. One person is reporting the disappearance of one of their friends in a some kind of like underwater cavern mystery dungeon in like northern Talos, while another person is asking for explorers to show up as security detail for a wedding in the coming week in
Aw.
a more dangerous part of the region. Missions of varying degrees of like prevalence and danger. There are a couple that are like, hey, I've been stuck in this mystery dungeon for a few days. SO fucking S. Because in the mystery dungeon games, those are some of the missions that you can do. Literally just like, help me, ignore how I got this on this piece of paper. But a lot more eyes are on the Outlaws posting, and you see a couple people are turning away with disappointment. Clearly, there haven't been many changes, but you all see there are a couple of like different what you see are clearly drawings. Gwen, you can kind of parse at the very least that it was probably Elias who did these drawings, the Smeargle that you met last night.
Wow.
Of just a myriad of different Pokemon, most of whom like no one really recognizes. There's one drawing of a Galarian Slowpoke, another of a Vespiquen, and another still of a Poltergeist. Just the various Pokemon. At the very center of the Outlaw board, and I think some of the more specific parts of the board are what Icarus, Lowen, and Aldo would pick up. There is a sort of like a stack of 10 or so like drawings under a column that says Talos is most wanted, and you see that these are postings for the outlaws in Talos who seem to have the biggest bounty for them, or who seem to have the most like urgency behind their capture. Some of the some of the outlaw postings that are like lesser are like, oh, this guy stole a diamond from my manor. This guy beat me up on the street and left me to die. Like that kind of stuff. But as you read some of the entries for the most wanted list, there is that sort of heart-dropping moment where the word murder crops up a couple times. And those of you who will be reading up the list one entry after another, you would see at the very top of the board is one of the least crude of the drawings you see is that of a dark-looking draconic Pokemon with blue scales flanked by hairs of a sort of like dark gray, sunken crimson eyes that barely seem to be seeing in the first place, and what seemed to be two smaller heads poking out on the bottom corners, similar in stature. You see a sort of loose drawing of a Hydreigon at the very top, with written below, Henrik, wanted for the destruction of Lake Yuxie, and so on and so forth. Those of you who would catch that would see that this is someone who was wanted for destroying a variety of parts of Talos over the last couple of years, including several communities around Lake Yuxie, one of the three Great Lakes in Talos. And again, that old world word murder pops up. Yeah. Also, Gwyn, I will say, everyone does notice this. Galahad's missing poster continues to stay up on the mission posting, and I think anyone who passed the check, along with Gwyn, would notice. Do with that information what you will. Those of you who passed the check, if you can ask any further questions about the posting that you would like.
Is it like a bounty, as in there's like a specific amount or reward listed, or is it just like these are tasks to do. There's no reward listed. It's just part of the job.
A lot of the mission postings and like most of the mission postings and like a good half of the outlaw postings have like, oh, 1,000 gold here, 2,000 gold there. Bearing in mind that because, you know, it's work being done through the guild, a lot of that gold is going to go to the guild itself. Kind of guild rules. You imagine if you took a job for like 1,000 gold, you'd probably get back like 250, give or take. But nonetheless, some of the higher up jobs, specifically those related to Talus's Most Wanted, reward to be discussed upon capture.
Interesting. Store that away.
Yeah.
Does it look like there's a certain certain level you have to be in order to take some of these? Like, is it a tiered system? Or
yes.
Okay.
You see that a lot of these missions are there appears to be sort of a ranking system of sorts, going from bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and finally grandmaster. You do know that this is the ranking system of the guild. There's probably like a little like legend at the side of the bulletin board to indicate what each rank means, but you see that like basic, you know, mission postings probably are starting like silver, maybe bronze, but harder mission postings and then some of the lesser outlaw postings are starting at gold at the lowest. By the time you hit Talus's Most Wanted, it is recommended that those who are diamond rank proceed from there.
Got it. Makes sense. And we're not quite ranked yet, right?
Apprentices are unranked.
Right.
They cannot, at this point at least, formally take missions from the mission postings.
Makes sense. Awesome. Good to know.
Yeah. Not the Naruto ninja hierarchy. Lord have mercy. I will say the ranking system is not entirely hard and fast. There's a little bit of sort of explanation of the ranks where if you are below, basically if you're below gold, so if you're bronze or silver, then you are not permitted to do more dangerous like missions. Once you're gold, you can technically through the guild take any number of the missions. From gold onward, the ranks become recommendations and not hard and fast limitations. Lovely. Yeah. Does anyone is anyone going to do anything with that information, or shall we just move on?
Is it like a situation where you take something off the board, or does it stay on the board and you just go do it?
You see that there are a couple people taking some missions off the board to basically bring back to their respective teams. You see that there's a little, for each piece of paper, there's sort of a sign off at the end where each member of the team that's being sent on the mission must agree to go on the mission, as well as receive the approval of the guildmaster and at least one of the deputies.
I think I have two questions.
Sure,
One
yeah.
of them is more so just out of curiosity. With Talus's Most Wanted, how big is the bounty gap between Henrik and whoever the second person is? Because he's probably been out for a long time.
Yeah. Again, most of Talus's Most Wanted does not state a hard reward number.
Oh yeah,
for
true.
Gold. You could imagine, given the fact that you might have clocked the fact that what is it? Henrik's picture was on the top before. It is still on the top, so chances are he's been there for a while. You had a second question.
Oh, that was my two questions. Just put into one question.
Okay, cool. Great.
Because I was going to ask how long has it been there, and yeah.
Oh, cool. Got it. Anyone else then?
Lowen's trying to like kind of get to the crowd, but is too like polite, too much of a pushover to like push the front. So it's kind of like, well, I'm sorry. What do you? Just like does not see much.
Out of
Great.
curiosity, how much does Lowen weigh?
Oh, he's so tiny.
2 piece tall.
So-
Minccino canonically weighs 13 pounds, rounded up.
Oh, 13, okay. See, I was like, if it's under 5, I just pick you up my mage hand and lift you
I was
up.
gonna say, Gwen, would just, do you want me to like
my haunch.
lift you up? Like,
Sure.
all right.
I'll just Lowen just climbs on Gwen's like,
Oh, okay. I was picturing Gwen just picks you up.
nah.
Get
It's a
scooped,
circle.
idiot. As Lowen gets scooped. Last thing I want to do with the Bolton with the guild posting real quick. Tell me, as far as passive perception goes, does anyone have a passive perception of 15 or higher? Lowen
No.
does.
Not
Kirly,
at all.
Kirly might, but Laura's not here right now. So, Lowen, you would be the
I'm
only
here
one.
verbally. Let me see.
Ah, okay, never mind.
No.
Okay, so only Lowen. Lowen, then you are the only one to sort of like clock this. As you're standing atop of Gwen's shoulders, taking a good look at the mission postings that are a little higher off the ground, you see someone has joined the fray very quietly and is sort of starting to make his way towards the front of the crowd. It's Rufus, actually. You see, you watch as he sets his sword against the wall and like makes his way through the crowd in front of the outlaw posting, and he stops and suddenly goes very still. Can you give me an insight check real quick?
Ooh. I got my. My insight's +6.
You're really quiet. I could not hear you.
My insight's +6. Let's get the. Sorry. 8.
Oh no.
I rolled a 2.
Yeah, that sucks. You do clock that Rufus stiffens. You see that tension suddenly rushes to his shoulders as he's looking somewhere on the board. You're not able to tell where or at what, but he's very quietly leering at some point of the board that you cannot quite discern. After a moment, he begins to turn away and, in somewhat of a rush, head off to grab his sword.
I think Lowen's gonna be like, go to Gwen's like, I'll be back. Just give me one
All right.
second. I'm gonna hop off after Rufus.
Place you down.
I think Lowen will even like kind of like very like dexterously like hop on like people be like sorry, excuse me, sorry, and I'll follow Rufus.
Lovely. It doesn't take long. As he's like turning around with his sword, he sees you like beginning to amble up to you, and
Hi.
Hey.
Sorry. First of all, sorry about last night.
Yeah, don't worry.
I just really got in your space, and that was kind of that was inappropriate of me.
Don't sweat it. I was just, parties aren't really my thing. It really wasn't you. You're fine.
I was clearly not used to them either. Are you doing all right? You seemed a little something seemed to like catch you off guard. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to. That doesn't necessarily have to be any of my business. But if you want someone to talk to, happy to shoulder that burden for you.
Boulder that shirt in.
Boulder by where?
Give me a persuasion check real quick.
Goodness me, 8
Damn.
plus 5, dude.
Rufus's mouth kind of like thins into a line a little bit. I'm good, thanks. Without, just turns around. Just stay out of it. And he turns around and starts towards the doors to the guild.
Okay. Sorry.
You see he stops as he hears your apology. Heaves a sort of sigh, and shaking his head, he continues walking out and leaves.
Just kind of like that kind of embarrassed, like red hot shame on his face a little bit. It's like, oh. It's gonna like try and act natural, but is spiraling about it.
Yeah, lovely. Is there anything else people want to do as like breakfast is sort of coming to an end and the crowd is sort of clearing from the bulletin board?
I think since I imagine the bounty / mission thing wasn't explicitly explained to Icarus, he'd probably just ask one of the people who clearly know what they're doing about it. Like, how do you take one of these? And we don't have to have that conversation since we already had it, but you know.
Yeah, you find as you're sort of trying to figure this out, you find that one of Serrano's team members, Marble, the Tinkaton, sees sort of leering out, and she is very quick and very happy to explain the system. Yeah, so basically you're not, as an apprentice, you're not really able to, at least at this point in the program, you're not really allowed to take any of these missions, at least not without guild permission. You'll start by the end of your apprenticeship, obviously, but for now, this is mostly best left to the explorers.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. As... God. All right. Well, if that is going to put an end to this little breakfast. Oh, go ahead.
I have a question. So I do not think I would interact with them. I would kind of maybe like hang back from it a bit. I want to see if the stags show.
Interesting. Yeah. Give me a perception check with advantage, and also Ash, if you could check Discord real quick, that'd be great.
All right. We got it. So that's gonna be you said perception, right?
Yeah. With advantage.
Oh, the advantage. Okay, so yeah, total that is a 15.
Great. Okay. On a 15, you know the stags by name and by face now at this point. So it isn't really super hard for you to like hang back and wait. You don't see Samson or Andreas, I will say. It's actually Thea who eventually shows up. Of the stags, you've had the least experience with her. She's the Zatu.
Okay, she's the Zatu.
She's got this sort of wistful air about her. Very still, even in motion, her eyes unblinking. She finds herself wandering over to the mission posting when she turns her neck, turns her neck 90 degrees to regard you sort of standing in a corner. Benavia?
Thea? Like, it was not expecting to be caught. It was not expecting to be, like, noticed.
Did the bonfire find you well, then?
Yeah.
Good, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
I like that she's, like, stiff as a board, just, like, I don't want this conversation to end up like last night's, please, dear God.
Is there something you want to ask me?
No, nothing in particular. Just was looking at the board.
Deception check.
No.
Trying to deceive a psychic type Pokemon, good luck, Charlie, that's all I'm about to say. Yeah? Tell me
So
about
that
it.
was a nat one.
That's the second one today. Oh yeah, well it goes about as
She's
well as you
stupid.
expect. Um, yeah,
I don't know if a
you
fire type can sweat, but if so, she's sweating bullets.
your eyes are as big as dinner plates, and you look stiffer than Thea somehow, which is an achievement. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say, Thea's a fucking statue, effectively.
For the first, she hasn't really been like directly visually engaging with you, but for the first time, she turns her head to look at you. Are you sure?
Like, it's just stammering out words. I don't think she's ready for the Zatu head turn. Yeah. That is with the voice cracks.
Very well then. You see she takes a mission posting off from the board and tucks it into a little like slit into one of her wooden wings. Well, when you're ready to be honest with me, I will be waiting. And she, without another word, turns around and clomps off.
I think Gwen just sits down and looks like she's reevaluating all of her life choices that led her to this exact situation. It's her turn in the Shinji chair.
Yeah, as this is happening, you hear you hear from behind you. Sup, fucker? As Ronnie is beginning to trot up, she looks like shit. First of all, she has not finished getting ready. Her hair is a mess, but nonetheless, they sort of like pat you on the shoulder and immediately like, ooh, what's all this? And immediately their eyes are all on the mission postings. It takes her a second to like turn around. Whoa, hey, are you good?
Yeah, just long morning.
Girl, it is barely 11. If it's been long already, then I don't want to know.
Alright, just a tense conversation.
What, with that Samson guy again? Is he here?
No, not Samson. It was another member. I haven't really. What are Thea's pronouns?
She, her.
Sure. Haven't really talked with her. Real quiet type, but like stares into your soul.
She like Ronnie does a little scan of the room, and sees like Thea speaking to one of the other guild members before she leaves. Oh yeah, creepy. Well, yeah, fair enough.
Sorry, that was so mean of me to say. I should not say she's creepy.
You can say she's creepy. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well, sorry that happened, but hey, look on the bright side. We got our first mission today. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Hopefully, it goes well. And
That's...
I think Ronnie can probably tell the Quinn is still like kind of tired from last night.
Yeah, well, okay. Just don't forget to drink water before you head out there. Oh, and before I forget to say so, she holds out the card, taps it. I told you so. So yeah, as she heads off,
Wait, what's the card?
The note left from Lennox, talking about the mission being held indeed in Kurios Woods.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Ronnie,
Very
as
long
you
sip of water.
As you wind down from whatever the hell that was, we are going to cut a little later in the day then. So going to let's touch base with everyone individually real quick. As we get closer to the hour at which people are expected at the entrance to Kurios Woods, Gwen, let's actually start with you. What are you bringing?
So she's probably bring her armor. Obviously, that's probably like the biggest thing she's got. Probably like, would there be like any potions or anything like that?
Not on hand at the moment. If you ask someone from the guild, I'll say, if at any point you're like, are there going to be like provisions. You're more or less told that there will be items provided.
Okay. Gotcha. Then yeah, I think really the only thing she really needs to bring is, her armor and her stick to put the armor on to kill things if need be.
Very nice.
And then probably just I don't know, just stuff that she could give to the party if need be. She just packs some apples.
Yeah, a little a couple snacks, a little bit of first aid here and there.
Yeah.
Eventually Ronnie joins you in the room. It takes her all 5 minutes to actually tidy herself up before she grabs her rapier and slings her poncho proper over her, ties it up. Turns around to look at you. How do I look?
Good.
All right. Well, you look like you're about to head out for a day to the park, so we'll see. Hope this goes well then.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Yeah. Can I cop one of those apples?
Yeah. Here you go.
Thank you. Shop work.
I like to think doesn't even take a bite, just inhales it immediately. Just
REMNANT. Remnant is the town for me. and I'm executed by the party.
Executed on the spot.
Aldo,
I like it.
No,
Aldo,
I think it's great.
As you are sort of approaching that threshold of around noon, what'd you bring in?
Aldo doesn't seem to have many things with him. I think the party has more or less seen him pull things out of his shell from time to time. He has built-in padded, basically has a big backpack.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't really need to carry things. However, something that party does see is a little ball of purple energy sitting on Aldo's shell. And when they get closer, it looks like a little noibat.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Does the noibat have a name? Remind me.
Let me think of something.
Mercutio 2. Anyway.
Mercutio.
Mercutio. Speaking of Mercutio, Icarus. What is Blood bringing?
He leaves the sending stone in the room.
Yeah. I will say, if you go check, the sending stone has not moved, the one that you've hidden.
Gorgeous. I think he just has, he doesn't wear armor. I think he just has a bag.
Good grief, he's naked.
Good grief, he's naked. He is. I don't know how to put clothes on him.
Give him rings.
Oh, that's kind of cunt, actually. Anyway, sorry.
I imagine that would probably be his, he has, a channeling thing. He doesn't use components.
Arcane focus, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine his arcane focus is probably a piece of jewelry. So, yeah. And he has a little bag somehow on him. But other than that, he doesn't really have anything. He casts mage armor before he goes.
Real. What is it? Kirly, what is...
They also make these fantastic waterproof shoes. Not water resistant.
Did you know they make these fantastic waterproof shoes?
I think I might bring some
Whoa.
fantastic waterproof shoes.
That's crazy.
My notebook that I carry around to keep note of the nature around me.
Ooh.
Because my main goal here is still to see. My main goal right now is to try and see what is different that makes this part of the woods live and my part die.
Right.
And I don't know. I'd like to think I have a cute little bag that's made out of the same leaves. I have
That's
a whole
cute.
theme.
My main goal is to blow up. Anyway, Lowen, what are you bringing?
Lowen is very simple traveling. His broom, his war broom,
Wardroom.
is got travel satchel. And he has his own little journal that he writes on daily, but also will take notes on. He took notes on for Katrina and documenting Kurios Woods. And maybe would have a couple of like small little things for being handy, like maybe a bandage, nothing like crazy, like actually could heal things, but like
Yeah.
just like little travel things that he thinks he would need in his exploration, and that's pretty much it.
Lovely. Bro is bandaged up. And finally, Draven. What is Bro bringing?
I mean, he's always got that little satchel bag on him, so probably not a lot. Maybe just like a little bit of like snacks or fruit stole from the main hall, like from breakfast. Probably just like, I mean, probably just like provisions. Maybe like probably his allergy stuff. Just chuck it in there too, because normally that's on the desk. And then, I mean, he's got his bag, he's got his axe, he's got space for anything they need to pick up if they're in there. I not really need much else.
Lovely. All right. Well, as noon begins to approach, one by one, you all set off. At this point, this will be your third time heading to Kurios Woods, so the path is quite clear to all of you for the most part. One by one, you all begin to arrive just outside of the same path that you took to into the woods the previous night. You see Guildmaster Lennox, who, along with her general sense of bravado, is now wearing like a dark black Stetson to shield her eyes from the sun above. You see that she is making small talk with Glenn, who is holding a very wide clipboard. And Carla is keeping note of, is to her other side, kind of keeping note of attendance. Sooner or later, all 13 guild members make their way to the spot. With Draven, you're the first of the party to probably arrive. You will have seen that Flicker has beaten you there and no one else. Until one by one, everyone starts to arrive until the last person, who happens to be Nico, filters in and finds his place among everyone else. A lot of excited chatter amongst the other apprentices. With all of that, once everyone has arrived, Guildmaster Lennox claps her hands together. All right, how are y'all doing?
Good morning.
Just that lame as fuck.
Yay.
All right, whatever. Okay, so
I did my best.
yeah, that you did. I'm sure y'all have gotten the memo by now. We are here to do a little bit of a trial of sorts. Now, I don't want anyone to go into this thinking that this is going to be a hard and fast official mission, necessarily. Think of this more as like I said, a trial, a test, a series of obstacles made for you to overcome in order to determine just how strong your instinct towards exploration really is. That, and the strength of your instinct towards teamwork. As you all know, 13 of you stand before me. We're going to be splitting you up into groups of 3. There's going to be one group of 4 to compensate for a little bit of unevenness. 4 teams are going to enter the forest for this little trial. There's been, admittedly it was originally going to be randomized, but I've been keeping an eye out of a couple of trends that I've seen emerging over the last 24 hours, and I think that there's going to be a fair bit of merit to some of these groupings. So when I call your name, please, by all means, step forward. All right. Batista, Flicker, Nico. Group 1. As the 3 of them, Batista, happiest of the 3, sort of like groups up with the other 2. Flicker doesn't really seem all that plussed or really all that thrilled. Nico looking like they're ready to melt into the floor. They sort of like separate themselves. As you all hear, all right, well, I'm going to get started working on a team name. Flicker's like, please don't. All right, then. Aspen, Katrina, Rufus, and let's say Ronnie. You see Ronnie, Gwyn next to you. Ronnie's like, she'd see one last look that is reading "Help Me" before.
Can I give her like a good luck wave?
That group of four sort of forms out a little bit, with Katrina and Aspen sort of filling the conversation a little. With the 6 of you remaining, Lennox looks over. All right then. Aldo, Draven, Guinevere, step forward. And finally, by default, that's going to lead Icarus, Kirly, and Lowen. Group 4. So, you guys are going to have a little bit of time to obviously plan things out, strategize, and all that mumbo-jumbo. But first of all, here is your mission. The trial is laid out to you in such fashion. You all are basically being tasked with setting out to the sort of like surface layer, quote unquote, of the Kurios Woods mystery dungeon. Basically going a little less deep than you might have found yourselves when you stumbled into Tabitha's domain, but still approximately like a couple of miles out from the guild itself, with the destination being, if you make good pace, a couple hours away. The objective is for you to reach the precipice of the deeper wood, where you will find a tree covered. You see that Glenn holds out a picture of this sprawling like oak tree that is glittering with what look like leaves of like golds and oranges and silvers, painting the upper branches of the tree. Each explorer is being tasked with bringing back one of these shiny leaves. You are told right off the bat that the shiny leaves are very fragile, and that simply teleporting back to the entrance of the mystery dungeon with the leaves in tow won't do. That'll be because that will the force of that teleportation will probably rattle the leaf and cause it to more or less disintegrate. More on that teleportation part later. But yes, essentially everyone is yeah, literally, Kylie. I was thinking about that when I was thinking about this. Anyway, each explorer is being tasked with bringing back a single leaf each. Each explorer is only allowed to take one leaf apiece, or at least take one leaf from the room. They're not allowed to hoard leaves, nor are they allowed to steal them. And Lennox makes it very clear, I know you all think that I'm not going to know. I can promise you, I'm going to know. So watch it. Each team, each team is also given a couple of resources while they're going to be out and about in the dungeon. First of all, each exploration team, is afforded a blank map book, which can be used to chart the order of the rooms as you find them in the mystery dungeon in that moment. Obviously, that map is not going to mean anything once you leave, but nonetheless, it is going to be a tool for you to retrace your steps once you have reached the end, because you will be able to return from the mystery dungeon from the way you came. It'll maintain that form while you're in it, as long as there are explorers in there. Number 2, I would like everyone to add 2 items to their individual inventory, an Oran brew and a Lum brew. Brews basically work like potions in this game. They can be administered as a bonus action during combat. The Oran brew can be consumed for someone to regain up to 10 hit points, while the Lum brew basically acts as a... let me just check my work here. But the Lum brew essentially acts as a 1 free cast of Lesser Restoration. So it can be administered as a bonus action to heal an explorer who is poisoned, paralyzed, blinded, or deafened. And a couple other status conditions that are not necessarily on the 5e condition list. Yes. Everyone receives one of these individually. The map book it's 1 per team, so y'all can decide amongst yourselves who is going to sort of keep that cartography part of everything. And finally, Lennox opens up a little like leather satchel, takes out these tiny little like cordons, like metal cordons, that are gleaming with like blue magic. They all have the sort of like swirling purple and black insignia of the coven on it, but there's this sort of like blue sheen over it. She hands one to each of the explorers, Think of these as temporary guild badges. This will not only serve as your permanent identification as a member of the guild while you're an apprentice, these are also going to be in charge of getting you out of here in a pinch, should you need them. So, let me explain how escaping a mystery dungeon works real quick to those of you who did not read the document. So, the cordons, aside from being little aesthetic additions to your person to identify you as an apprentice of the the Titan's Coven, the badge also functions as an escape orb, which is an item that has not been introduced, but you will see it later. Essentially, an escape orb allows an explorer to, as the name sort of entails, get the fuck out of a mystery dungeon if they are in a patch of trouble. And whether that means if they're like on the precipice of a really bad situation, if they need to like assess mental distress or physical injuries, or if they've reached the end of the mission and they just need to very quickly get out with other people in tow. There are two different conditions. There are two different ways the badge can be activated, however, the Dungeoneer's badge. I'm just going to read this directly from the rule page so that not for the sake of having it, verbalized. While in a mystery dungeon, explorers equipped with a Dungeoneer's badge may use their action to rotate the orb embedded within the cordon. Upon doing so, the explorer is immediately teleported out of the mystery dungeon to a safe destination, often either the entrance of the mystery dungeon or, depending on proximity, the entrance to the Titan's Coven. You must be conscious and capable of movement in order to activate the badge's teleportation functionality. Now, it operates differently depending on when and where it is used. If you are in the middle of actively traveling, if you are engaged in combat, or if you are otherwise consciously making progress towards your objective while you are not. Basically, if you're not resting, then the badge can only teleport you individually out of the mystery dungeon. When this happens, any items and treasures you collect within the mystery dungeon are left behind. If either your team is collectively resting, or you have reached the end of the mystery dungeon itself, if you reach the end of the mission, the badge can not only be used freely while taking all of your items back, it can be used on up to 10 other Pokemon within your vicinity. This allows for you to return to the entrance of the mystery dungeon with lost Pokemon or apprehending criminals in tow. Make sense?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yep.
Yeah, the Dungeoneer's badge, I'm going to emphasize this because it's going to be very important for the rest of the campaign. It will not work in every part of a mystery dungeon, especially in further reaches of certain mystery dungeons or certain areas, such as when you're in the presence of powerful Pokemon, i.e. in the middle of a boss fight, or if you are in an area that's with overwhelming arcane presence, or if you're just really far away from the entrance. You might not be able to use the badge to its proper efficacy, but that will be a matter of dealing with the threat or simply closing that gap, so you will be able to use it. Think of it as an emergency exit during a mission, and fast travel to the end of to the beginning of the mystery dungeon for when you've completed it. Again, remember that once you have obtained one of the shiny leaves, you cannot just teleport back to the mystery dungeon. You're going to have to retrace your steps, though it is emphasized that going back the same way will take much less time than going forward once you've, known what way to go. With all of that splayed out, does anyone have any questions as far as what lies ahead in Kurios Woods? Daring. All right. So let's designate a sort of not Icarus.
Sorry. I guess this is more of an out-of-game question first.
Totally.
I never played these games before. Sorry.
Okay.
Is it just a straight line, or is there branching paths?
No. There are branching paths. We're going to the way that we're going to be doing exploration is, I'm going to be honest, very streamlined for the moment. So there will be some. Basically, when you're exploring, it's really going to depend on how effectively that you do so that determines how quickly and with how much safety you're able to make that approach. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But short answer, no, not by a long shot. There is going to be a fair amount of navigation.
So true.
Yeah. Out of game, you will not have to keep track of the order of rooms, but that the map book is more flavoring than anything else. But yeah, that makes sense. Yay! Okay. So with Group C, that would be Draven, Aldo, and Gwyn. Who's going to be in charge of like keeping the map book? Honestly, you three discuss among yourselves for a moment.
I think
Oh.
Aldo's been.
Aldo's got the book smarts. Let him do it.
Yeah.
Aldo's
Also,
allowed
I'm kind of on fire, so maybe not the best game to paper.
Well, Aldo has like a stack of books already. He's like,
Yeah, like
Let's just.
He's
I think
got
I'm
it.
holding the map, and I just very delicately put it on top of your books.
a little pen already, like taking notes on it.
Lovely.
Look
You
at
guys,
him go.
yeah, you guys see amongst the other teams, it's Flicker who's taken on the responsibility of
course it is.
keeping track of the pathing. While for the group of four, they have unanimously decided that it's going to be Aspen. As for Icarus, Kirly, and Lowen, discuss amongst yourselves.
Do any of you feel particularly strongly about this?
Not really. Whoever really. I'm down to do it if anyone
I'll
else.
do it. It's fine.
Okay. This is gonna be all good.
We're going to have a great time.
Least enthused he's ever been in his life.
Yeah.
Kirly and Lowen awkwardly following Icarus.
All right, so with all of that sort of sectioned off, that whole explanation sort of happens. Okay, we're gonna go out of character for a second. Would you guys like me to go into detail on some of the mechanics, or would you guys just like to defer to the rule page, because that is there and is as detailed as I could try to make it, at least for mechanics that haven't been used before. I would love to explain anything that might be a little confusing at this moment. Now is the time.
I took a read over it earlier. Personally, I'm okay.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm good too. I
Yeah,
read it
I think it should be
over.
good. I have it up with me just in case.
I have it up as well. If
Yes,
we if
pl-
you have
please
any
use it as
questions,
a-
we could just ask in the middle of the check or
Yeah,
whatever's
please,
going on.
please by
too.
all means use it as a cheat sheet. This is not a test. Lowen, what's up? Or Desmond?
Hmm?
Did you say you had a question?
No, I was just like, yes, I'm also good. I've also read it, and I.
You have a question. No.
You have a question.
Great. The rest of you sort of. Oh, sudden music change. You all sort of see that the other groups are kind of varying levels of sort of ready. Batista and Nico are sort of kind of getting into it. Yeah, this is gonna be cool. Can we not call ourselves Team Pokepals, please? Well, I think it has a nice little ring to it. Well, what's wrong with it? It's juvenile is what it is. Meanwhile, Aspen and Katrina, Ronnie and Rufus, that fucking team. Rufus is sort of like very quietly standing off to the side as Katrina is yapping. Ronnie gives you guys eyes, Draven and Gwyn, and just sort of like mouths like.
I think Draven just looks at her, looks at the team, gives like a little shrug, and then just keeps talking with the group.
Quinn doesn't know really how to respond, so she's just like kind of just reserved in the back, like very like silently trying to wish Ronnie luck.
Lowen is happy that Katrina is having a good time, unaware of Ronnie's
All right.
desperation.
With that, Lennox summons everyone's silence with a yet another timely quiet coyote. All right then. Here's how this is going to work. Once you walk through the entrance, you're going to find that there are probably going to be 4 branching paths of sorts that'll be leading to different parts of the mystery dungeon. Aldo, Draven, and Gwyn, you all will be going to the leftmost. Icarus, Kirly, and Lowen, sort of at the 11 o'clock spot. Batiste, Flicker, and Nico are going to be at 1 o'clock, and then Aspen, Katrina, Ronnie, and Rufus are going to be headed directly to your right. Make sense? All right,
Copy.
Quick plan.
then. Any last words? Testimonies? Complaints? Questions? Threats?
Were we supposed to prepare something?
Whatever you got.
I'm good.
Well, Break a leg then. As she steps aside to open up a path directly into the mystery dungeon. Not all at once now. Come on.
Icarus is already going.
Good luck, everyone. Follow it.
Kirly is hurrying behind Icarus.
There are a couple like, good luck. See you on the other side. Ronnie is like talking to her other teammates, being like, okay, so is this like a race? Because like if so, I'm in. Lennox calls back, no, it's not. Take your time. Just be back by sundown. And with that, we're gonna take a break. Let's take a fiver. Be back at 8:42. Yay!
Churro.
Hooray!
Bye.
Hurrah.
All right,
I'm gonna go refill my water.
I'm gonna go use the bathroom.
Smart.
Yes.
Go piss, girl.
What if I cried right now?
Jump scare.
Whoa.
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 There's a little guy here as well.
Oh my god, Ham! I miss him so much.
He actually probably really misses you. It's
Aw,
very funny.
I miss him so
know.
much.
He sits on
Are
my
you
lap
like-
so much now. He
Aw.
misses it.
I wish I got to meet Hamlet.
When are we
Maybe
taking
you
a trip
still
up?
will.
When are we taking a trip to Sunny's place to
If
go
we're talking
see
about
Ham?
Kitty, wait, actually,
Domino?
he was like meowing at me downstairs, and I picked her up. She was like, "Meow." And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm gonna stop.
What the fuck do you want? Make up your mind!
Oh
Okay,
my god,
she,
hi Claire.
her,
Domino!
her, Your Honor.
Domino,
Oh my
Domino
god,
looks
a
so
kitty.
tiny.
She is tiny. Look at her.
Yes, please,
Little
Tom.
baby. Oh my god.
Hi, girly. Oh, she is getting on the desk.
She's
Um,
here.
It's directly on your keyboard.
Frankly, the very funny part of like every time Aidan visits, but especially the last time they were here, Domino has started to like come into my room a lot more often, like of her own volition, which is really just like her like meowing super loudly outside of my bedroom door. But every now and then she pushes open the door to like get in. Aidan's allergic to cats, so like there were what felt like half a dozen instances of Domino like pushing through like meow, and I was like,
Yep. One of my greatest flaws. I'm so sorry to the cat
yeah,
community.
babe, it's okay. One red flag is still pretty good.
There are more.
Oh, you don't actually want to play? Why the fuck are you in here?
God, cats a blast.
Cats of
Why
War.
is Hamlet in? Obviously, Hamlet wants to spectate.
Desmond, what are
Oh
you
my
eating?
god, Desmond. Yeah, I was just about to ask.
I'm eating a salad.
Or should I say, what? Are you eating?
What's on
I
that
ate.
Anyway. I would start duck walking, but my leg muscles are so like fucked right now.
It's a salad with apples, candied pecans, dried cranberries, gorgonzola, or feta.
All right, question.
That's
Question of the day: do you say pecan or pecan? Do you
I'm
say
Pecan, because
do
I'm
you
not
s-
pretentious.
Do you say it the normal way or the gay
Whatever I'm
way?
feeling, baby.
I'm pretentious, so pecan.
I
Is it weird that it kind
Oh.
of fluctuates for me?
No, I was about to say, because when I say pecan pie, then it's pecan pie. But when it's the thing itself, it's pecans.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
See, Aiden's the one.
feel like-
If this party's like fantasy high, Aiden is currently like baby, and when he's like kippers, you never heard of kippers?
Like, no, I kind of agree with Sam. Where it's like, I cannot, like, I cannot imagine saying butter pecan. You have to say butter pecan. That's the only acceptable way to say
I
that.
do agree with
Yeah,
that.
like if
That's
pecan
real.
is used, if pecan is used as like the widely accepted term for like butter pecan, then yeah. But otherwise, I'm saying pecan.
My mom has a coffee pod that's called caramel pecan, and I think about it. It's two words that you can pronounce two different ways. Sometimes I think about it a little too hard, and I like
Oh.
combine the
Car-
two.
Caramel
have
pecan
said-
feels so wrong.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I have said pecan before.
Pecan.
Pecan.
That
because
sounds
I
like
think about it too much.
There's no answer that's correct.
that sounds like something that like Game Freak would do as like
Yeah.
a fucking like pecan, but it looks like Pikachu.
Lordy. All right. With all that settled, chat, are we back?
Chat?
Chat, we're
Chat, is
back.
this real?
Chat, where we have.
Chat, chat. So, chat. Someone kiss me, chat.
Are we back?
Someone clip
No,
that.
no, no.
Boo.
Hey, yo, that looking
one
like
gives
the battle
money.
pass.
Hey, that should kind of look like the battle pass.
That's what I'm saying.
Google,
Google,
show me this guy's balls.
Hey,
I wanna
Google,
go.
show me this guy's ball.
Google, show me this guy's balls.
Whoa.
I want to go home.
All right, so welcome everybody to your first mystery dungeon of any Pokemon mystery dungeon game that has been run amongst this friend group in the last 2.5 goddamn years.
Sorry.
We did it finally. So with
Mystery
that,
dungeon, the mystery dungeon game? Fucking impossible.
yeah, literally. I'm gonna roll a d6 real quick. Kylie, odds or evens?
Odds.
All right, let's see. That is indeed evens. So we are going to start then with party team B. Let's call it Icarus, Kirly, and Lowen. So to represent the very beginning of your little excursion into Kurios Woods, I would like everyone to make their first navigation check. This is going to be a survival check with a DC of 10. Remember that at least 2 of the 3 of you need to succeed in order to make substantial progress.
Navigation check.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
Gwen, I was not talking to you.
Sorry. I heard navigate. I heard a roll.
16.
All right, so Icarus passes.
19.
Lowen passes. Kirly, what do you get?
15.
Okay, that is a collective pass. Wow. Would you guys agree that like Icarus is probably leading at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Lowen's very I mean, Icarus is very much taken like I'm just gonna go, and you guys can follow me, I guess.
He's not. He's not being a bitch about it, but he is just like going.
Yeah, and Lowen is just going to like stay close behind and keep an eye out for any threats that might need to be. Where like Lowen might want to like step up and be the one to immediately engage.
Yeah, so this first stretch of the mystery dungeon goes swimmingly for the 3 of you. Very quickly you hear the voices of the other teams fade away as suddenly you have found yourselves almost eerily alone here. This mystery dungeon doesn't seem to be particularly heavily populated. It might lend itself to its nature as a more tamed mystery dungeon. There aren't as many wild Pokemon, not as many Outlanders. But even only a few minutes into your trek, you do notice something in the air begins to shift as you enter, as the sort of feel of the space of the forest, the vastness somehow, even though you can see for miles and miles in the distance, at the same time it feels very confined, almost just starting to tread towards claustrophobia. Nonetheless, you carry forward. For a while, the road is indeed forward. In this first part of in this first, like, we're going to call it room of the mystery dungeon, it is trees as far as the eye can see, and little twitching like blades of grass and like tiny mushrooms that are growing at the bases of some of these trees. Flowers of like dull but still in their own right pretty colors. Morning, like late morning, early afternoon is still very much poking through the trees as it still feels very much just no more than a hike through the woods. In this sort of like general part of the forest, what action are you all going to take? There's no order to this, at least as of now, unless you guys would like to establish an order amongst yourselves. But otherwise, feel free to consult the exploration action list and determine from there.
Does anyone have something I can jump out?
I think Icarus is probably just going to take the navigate action.
Checks out, yeah. Icarus remaining very quiet as he sort of just carries on, I imagine.
I think Lowen will take the clear action. I think he's literally just gonna like dust and broom with his tail and broom the path ahead. And then make sure there's nothing like I'm not sure if this is the right word, obfuscating the path.
Yeah, Laura, what about you?
I'll do forage.
Lovely. Okay. Is there anything in particular you're looking for, or is this a little more generalized?
Generalized.
Okay, so give me a survival check. We're going to call this DC 15 to find anything of note.
7.
Is that with survival or?
Yeah.
Oh. Damn, Kirly.
I don't know why I'm so bad at rolling.
Get new dice.
Roll, jeez.
Exercise, like, you gotta exercise those dice.
Yeah.
Baptize them. Put them in water.
Great. Before we describe what happens, Lowen, is there? That's half of. So clearing, taking the clear action is only half an action. So is there anything else you'd like to do?
I guess with the You know what? Seeing a Kirly kind of look for stuff and maybe having a hard time. I'll use my other half action to aid.
Ooh, okay,
Kirly.
so in that case, Laura, roll again and take the higher number if you roll higher.
As Lowen. You got this. You got this. You got this. You got this. You got this.
8, 9, 10. Still not helpful.
Okay, all right. So I will say, so on a 10, 10 is better for sure. So let's, before I describe what happens, are y'all going to talk amongst yourselves about anything, or do we just want to move forward?
I mean, Lowen would probably just be over by Kirly's I can. Just wants to help out. Maybe sees Kirly a little frustrated and not finding anything at first, and it's gonna I can help out over here real quick, and want to maybe hold stuff so that she can easily look for it, push bushes aside with broom.
I say thanks, still not finding much because I suck at rolling.
Great. So through this first sort of stretch before things start to tighten up a little bit, Kirly and Lowen, you sift through the bushes and sort of set aside flowers and whatnot to see if you could find anything of note. While Lowen, you were dedicating yourself to clearing. It's mostly dust and twigs. The occasional thorns from a single shrub sort of crop up, but there's not a whole lot in your path right now that you really need to clear at the moment. So it's more of a general sweep, kind of prestidigitation every couple of seconds to sort of keep the path clean. Nothing really of note from there. You guys do find a couple of vague berries that don't really seem super edible, and some materials that could be used for firewood if need be. But nothing in the way of earnest items or things that can be added to your actual pool of resources. Sunny, what's up?
And I was just gonna have Icarus say something after all this happens, and he sees Lowen sweeping away nothing, basically. Lowen is your name, right?
Yes, yeah.
Perhaps next time you should scout instead of sweeping away at nothing.
Understood. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Playing an asshole character.
Sunny is telling Desmond they took the wrong action, Doc.
No.
Sashay.
I feel so bad.
Yeah, sorry. I was scouting at first, but I was just worried that I didn't want to just wanted to see if I could make sure nothing was in the way. My bad. I'm sorry.
It's alright.
You've taken the most socially anxious guy and told him he's doing a thing wrong.
Yeah,
Realest
really
shit
are
ever, dog.
an interesting match for Icarus.
Great. Okay, so to close off this little turn for our B team, because I will say, because the path is clear, things are starting to look tightening up a little bit, but otherwise things are looking good. So, DC 12 navigation check from everybody. Remember, Icarus, you have advantage, so let's get that to end off this turn.
Okay.
$19.
That's a pass.
That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, so you guys succeed. Kirly, what do you do? What do you got?
6.
Oh my god, what did you roll?
Kirly Pop.
You're a wisdom caster. What did you roll?
Are you rolling a d20?
Take
Are you
that
sure
die.
you're rolling a d20?
Listen, I had made that mistake before. This is a d20, though.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's so tough. Okay, well, nonetheless, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That is still a success. Maybe a little slower, just because Kirly is putting a lot of time into that foraging. Icarus, you might need to snap her to attention real quick. But otherwise, there is no physical difficulty traveling through as you guys progress forward. We're going to snap over to Team A. Let's get that preliminary Survival check. Again, this is a DC 10. No!
You said it was survival, right?
Uh-huh.
They have to both succeed to make
Okay.
up for it. I love it.
I got a 24.
Okay, so that's really good. Kylie, what did you get?
12.
Okay, so that's a pass. That is a 50-50. Just a
Aldo
reminder
was holding the map upside down.
Just a reminder that a nat 1 counts for 2 failures, essentially. So because Aidan technically failed twice, but there was a 1 success from each of the others, that is still 50%. That still succeeds. Not as smooth as a start as Aidan. Can you describe to me what happens at the start of this trip that kind of causes it to be a little
Aldo
messier?
Like nose to paper in this map, like taking so many notes of something that he has not even gotten to yet. He's just wandering blind.
Great. Well, on a nat 1, give me a dexterity saving throw real quick.
No. 12.
Okay, so you don't fall headfirst into a river. That's good. But at a certain point, I think one of Guinevere and Draven have to like put like a firm hand on Aldo's shoulder to keep him from falling, like walking directly into it without looking. Y'all can decide amongst yourselves who actually does it.
Aldo avoids rusting.
I think Aldo's fully about to like walk into a tree, and I think Draven just grabs, like, not like forcefully, but just kind of like grabs him and pulls him back a little bit, and it's just like, I don't think you need your head that close to the paper. We're barely past the entrance.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Look, it's our first time in a mystery dungeon. Well, first proper time.
We don't really want our navigator getting a concussion this early. So.
Yeah.
Very, very fair. I do not have headbutt.
That's good. All right. So, preliminary exploration actions. What do you 3 want to do from here?
So I have a question about one of the actions.
Sure, talk to me.
So the investigate action seems pretty dependent on the room we're seeing in front of us.
Yes.
So could we get the description of the room first, or do we? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did. So description stays consistent with what I said for the other group. There's not a whole lot right now. It's going to be a lot more important later.
Got it. So fair. In that case, I'll do a navigation check. I'll keep a navigation.
Great.
I'll do a scout action.
Great. Okay, so give me a perception check real quick. This is going to be like general dangers 10, meet a 10. Very specific dangers hit a 15.
14.
Okay. Nothing really right now. At the very least, you're keeping an eye out for like what it's like weird plants and like divots in the road and whatnot. Once it starts shutting down a little bit, it's going to be a lot tighter. But for the time being, at the very least, it does not seem like there's a whole lot pressing at the very moment. I will say this: in the distance, a little deeper in the into the wood, you hear a sound you didn't really expect to hear at this point. Whistling, a little deeper into the woods.
Do you guys hear that?
Hear what?
There's like a wind whistling noise off in the distance. Some sort of. Is it like people? Is it like?
It is like a person whistling.
Okay.
Well, that's concerning.
Yeah, you guys slow down and you do eventually like train your ears to hear it.
Oh.
Nope.
Let's just tread
Is that the
lightly
direction we're
for now.
going?
Yes.
Do we hear it?
Well, I mean, hey, maybe it's just one of the parties or something. Stay a little positive. So I'm going to be using my exploration actions to I'm going to forage and I'm going to aid Aldo.
You cannot do both. Forge costs 1 exploration action, while Aid only costs half.
Oh, my bad. I read that as I thought they both cost a half. Then
Also,
navigation. Sorry. Can't really aid.
yeah, Aldo already has advantage on navigation.
Okay, my bad. Then yeah, I'm just gonna forge.
Great. Give me a survival check. We'll call that once again a DC 15.
You got it. You said a survival, right?
Yeah.
18.
Great. Okay, so let me check something real quick. Please hold. Talk amongst yourselves for just a second.
So, how do you think everyone else is doing?
I'm sure Flicker's doing okay.
Yeah, probably.
Hopefully Ronnie doesn't strangle our party by the time they get back.
Yeah, I do not think she wanted to be with them, if I'm going to be completely honest. I just hope she gets along with them. I mean, they seem like a nice group. If I honestly cannot really get a read on Rufus.
Neither can I. I can't read most people, though.
Oh.
They're not books.
Well, that's... yeah.
Aldo has a book of humor for idiots and crosses out that joke.
No.
Crazy. Aldo.
Poor Aldo.
Well, as you guys are making small talk, and Gwen, you're sort of sifting through, like you're doing, you're doing like a thorough search everywhere. You're like climbing trees and like poking into like empty nests where you can. And
hold on, let me check that nest.
Amidst all of the presumably inedible berries and like random, pine cones and whatnot, you do spot something. In your time, the few times you've been like near mystery dungeons or like handling items of a sort, you find a interesting looking seed. One that's like no smaller than like a quarter, a bright yellow. It's not buried, it's simply sitting in a nest that you're investigating right now. Give me a nature check real quick.
Nature, you got it. Oh, man, I wonder if I should put this in my mouth. That's a 17.
Ooh, okay. That beats the DC. You are able to identify this. Seeds can be identified only through very close scrutinization because they all look very similar in color and in size. But the line pattern, the way it's sort of like creased and like sort of like the vague like details of the shape tell you that this is an XI seed. So this seed, when consumed, you can add this to your inventory, by the way. When consumed, it inflicts the blinded status. Alternatively, it can be thrown to force someone to make a saving throw in order to not be blinded.
Okay, so good. I was about to eat this, so good to know that I'm not.
Essentially, this is a flashbang. Yeah. Essentially, the way seeds work is that if you eat it, you get the condition no matter what. If it is thrown and you're hit by one, you make a saving throw.
Think a catapult spell and we fling it at mass speeds.
You like pop it in your mouth. Salty. Like,
yeah, you guys see, Quinn's like expecting a seed. Hey guys, I found a seed that makes you blind.
Aldo does the math in his head of a seed that makes you blind.
The beach that makes you old, the seed that makes you blind.
This is one day blindness soup. We found the ingredient.
Oh God! All right. Well, yeah, that's what you're able to find, Gwen. So that is this first navigation turn. Or first exploration turn. To close out this turn, let me get that next navigation check from everybody. DC 12.
And we add survival to this, right?
Yes, survival.
Okay.
So auto passes.
17.
Okay, so
8.
Okay, so Gwen, you hold the party back a little bit by just how thorough you're searching. But the good news is that Aldo now knows to keep one eye on the road and the other on his map, and Draven is a really good accountability partner in all of this. So you all are able to move forward, maybe not as quickly, but certainly with intention and a fair amount of progress. Let us jump back to our second group of Icarus, Kirly, and Lowen. So, the trees begin to curl in on each other in a sense. Even though you know in your heart that it is broad daylight, it starts to get a little darker as you sort of find yourself a little deeper in the tangles of this murky forest. You start to notice that the flora around you begins to change. Can I get a perception check from all three of you? Laura's tired of rolling that d20, dog.
19.
Great.
Yay!
A 10.
Okay.
10 for me.
Okay, so first things first, it's dark. You're able, not so dark that you can't really see in front of you, but your visibility is compromised a little bit. For all intents and purposes, you all are entering an area of dim light. So you all are still able to see a little bit, but like not super far ahead of you. As this sort of shade begins to envelop ever so slightly, you have dark vision, don't you, Icarus? Yeah, okay, figures. Well, you're fine. As this darkness sort of starts to descend on you a little bit, the shade starts to intensify ever so slightly, you find that the areas through which you're traveling are feeling more like small clearings rather than wide open spaces. As you approach, you all hear the sound of what seemed like very soft rushing water. Before long, you sort of find yourself in this part of the forest that feels very walled off, surrounded on all sides by just trees, with only the way you came behind you. You find that there is a pretty wide looking ravine of what looks like purple water floating at your feet. It seems to be fizzing and like almost ever so slightly smoking the way a carbonated drink would. Boulders covered in moss and vines hanging from the trees are beginning to percolate around. And Kirly, on your 19, you sort of smell something in the air. Your experiences in forest before. You've seen this in Virtue Woods before. It's more naturally occurring, not quite part of the rot. The more acidic rivers, it seems to be, are often like, leading to marshes occupied by poison type Pokemon. Not only are they dangerous to swim in, but they are dangerous to go above. It seems that this is kind of this sort of ravine river type thing is essentially acting as a dividing line between the way you came and the way forward. You see that there are a couple like large trees all around along with the boulders. And yeah, it seems that aside from like a couple of like glowing mushrooms and flowers and the like around you, and the feel of like grass beginning to curl around your legs, this seems to be where, for the first time since your trip, you find yourselves coming to a stop. So, you have a problem. How are you going to fix it? Exploration actions. Go.
I think you mentioned that there are trees.
Yes.
Are they like along the ravine?
There's like one or two that are like a little closer. Yeah.
I think Icarus is gonna turn to the other two. Well, should we try to knock one of those down to get across?
I think that'd be the way to get through.
Planning?
Yeah, but I mean, better than swimming.
Quite right.
Anyone have anything? I mean, I could try hitting it a bunch. I don't know if that's going to do as much as... I could do my best.
Well,
I know you're spellcasters. If you've got anything that could more effectively get through the base of a tree.
I will say this: casting spells does not cost an action while you're exploring.
Mm-hmm.
It can be used as part of your other actions, or they can be used freely.
I have a proposal because I only have, and I'm not smart enough out of game to know if this would work, but I feel like Icarus probably is enough to make a check for it at least. if Icarus were to like chill touch and freeze part of the tree, and then Lowen bashed it, would that like weaken the tree?
Ooh, okay. That's a really good question. Can I posit that this is going to be an investigate action?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah, in that case, you're welcome to make either a I guess that would be a nature check, maybe? Nature or arcana, let's say.
I would say, yeah.
Given that you are talking about a spell.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. A 13.
Okay, freezing a tree completely over is going to be pretty hard because like you're just going to be encasing the tree in ice. It's not going to make it any easier to theoretically topple over, you don't think? It might be like the surface might be a little like you're not quite sure. It's kind of hard to say like confidently, especially because like that acid do be a little hot.
Mm-hmm.
I got an idea.
Okay.
What?
I look to Icarus and Kirly. We're trying to figure out a way to get this a tree so we can get over the acidic could burn us river. If there's some way that we could transfer the acid onto the base of a tree, we could weaken it by that. Yeah, if we say again, sorry.
Anybody bring a bucket?
Looks at
I don't know
what the fuck is in a Dungeoneer's pack.
Was it a Dungeoneer's pack?
It's the first time that someone has ever like earnestly tried to like use the Dungeoneer's pack.
I reach into my satchel, take out a bucket.
You got a tinder box.
I was going a water skin.
With that,
a water skin. Oh yeah, a water skin. Well, you
What
might
it
need to be
just-
careful with the
the
water
acid.
skin.
Huh?
You might want to be careful with the water skin and acid, but that could work. Yeah.
does it, do we think that the water skin would work well with the acid?
Scooping up acid with a water skin is crazy.
If there's some way that I don't know.
Really,
if
I think you
item
only
spells-
make once.
Is it? Do either of you maybe have spells that could potentially like that could potentially fortify water skin?
Well, looks at purely enchantment. So,
Spells.
While they're looking,
I
they
mean,
are
I could freeze the water skin, but I'm not quite sure if that would help.
Yeah, I would say doing so would cost a clear action, so that would be a 0.5 action.
And wait,
there.
sorry, you go please.
While I was there, like while like they're kind of like look, however they look through spells, like maybe if there's some sort of like, if there's some branches nearby that like, if there's like a tree near like the edge of the water, like just like getting like a large tree branch and just kind of like just splashing the acidic water onto a nearby tree, if that's like an option anywhere.
Yeah, if you climb up the tree, do you want to make this an investigation check? Or action, or?
I'll make this investigate.
Yeah, so...
I'm not the best at those, but I'm doing it.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Oh,
Jesus.
okay. Wait, what are you?
Spooky.
Spooky, scary music. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spooky.
I thought that maybe that was an 18. That's a 13. That's 14.
Okay, so you climb up this tree, and you think, like, it might be possible, but it'll be a little dangerous to do so. You also realize, like, Lowen, like, thinking about it, Kirly and Icarus can both float. They would have to float over the river, and that might cause a little bit of damage, but you're kind of the only one who is a little Laura forgot that Kirlia can levitate.
I forgot I could levitate. And then...
You theoretically could, is what I'm saying. Lowen, you're thinking, because you're the only one who couldn't theoretically do so, you realize that you could, worst comes to worst, you could just make a jump off this branch, and with enough luck, you would make it into, make it over the river.
I could, step of the wind.
I really wanted to say that with a straight face, and then I started thinking about Lowen in the fucking acid river.
Even though we can literally just carry him. No.
I'm not sure I could. I don't think our size difference is all that great. You could.
Yeah, like as I'm looking at this, it's like sorry, just to make sure I understand completely. It levitating over the levitating over the river. But like the how possible is that without like incurring some damage?
Not very. It doesn't seem like it would hurt you all that much unless you fell in. Sorry, the visual of minccino in the fucking like.
I have a question.
Bro, I've literally got step of the wind. I can fucking absolutely clear this.
Oh yeah, you can. Laura, what's up?
So does the river happen to count as a non-magical food or drink?
What the hell are you using right now? Is that purify food and drink?
Are you using purify food and drink?
Cook.
Hold on, let me look up how this spell works. Because it's water. So like
water?
It purifies, yeah.
It removes poison and rot from non-magical food and drink in a 5-foot radius.
That would be insane.
I'm deferring to the peanut gallery for this one. Does that count? Because like, I do really like that logic. Is the worst part. It's water, but like,
would it be enough that if like
that's the I think my worry more so is the fact that it is a actively flowing river. So like you're gonna purify that 5 feet, and then immediately it's gonna get overtaken by acid. That's what I'm thinking is gonna happen.
I was thinking it's more of it's within a 5 feet sphere of the on a point within range. So like I figured that if like it'd pass through and be pure for a minute and then get out.
Yeah, that is not how that works.
Yeah, it's like instantaneous, isn't it? Rather than being concentration.
Listen, I'm trying not to get a
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. Laura, if you would like to cast Purify Food and Drink using a, we'll call this a clear action, and then roll me an Arcana check. If you can if you get a nat 20 on that Arcana check, I will let you purify an entire river of acid.
You know I'm not going to.
Can I make an argument for why this makes sense?
Yeah,
I have
sure.
2 points.
Peanut Gallery, go ahead.
I have 2 points because you did ask to defer to the Peanut Gallery. One is, when the fuck is anyone else ever gonna use Purify Food and Drink?
Fair.
And 2 is, Kirly's whole thing is her mission is wanting to find a way to cure the rot in her home forest. Of course she would have some level of experience with doing that to begin with. So I feel like he is so inclined to know how to do this, but also make the DC high because it's kind of, you know.
Okay, we'll hear Aidan out, and then I think I've got a decision. But Aidan, say your point.
My more thing is this doesn't seem like poisoned or rotted water. It's acidic. Like that is a distinctly like different dilemma. This isn't like an additive thing. This is a chemical composition thing. Is this technically even water at this point?
I'm too tired to get into the science of this shit. I really am.
We're really
Okay. Laura, can you go to your spell sheet and tell me what your spell attack modifier is?
Does anyone have any bicarbonate soda?
I do.
Crap, I didn't write it down.
Okay, what is your wisdom modifier plus 3?
Wait, bicarbonate soda.
That'd be 6.
6. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna ask that you roll this in the box of doom real quick. If you go into the Discord. All you have to do in the Echo's Box of Doom is just type in /roll 1d20. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to call this, it's a +6. We're going to call this DC 25. If you roll a 19 or a 20, then you are... Okay, so not quite. You have to type in /roll, click /roll from one of the bots, and then write 1d20. If you get a 19 or a 20...
What is this?
I can type in the command for you if you want.
Roll string? What do I put in that one?
When you type in string, just put 1d20. Not quite. Okay.
Damn it.
That's a 7.
I can't even roll digitally.
Okay, so you do try. You do, like, there is a second, so you use that spell slot. We're going to count that as a clear action, so you've used half an action. You try to focus on the river, and it's like, it's water. Like, it kind of, like, it's in well enough. You try and focus in on a spot of the river. You are able to seep the acid out of it for just a moment from that area, and then it immediately gets covered with more acid. Now you're welcome to try that again if you want.
Well, I mean, I was trying to avoid this, but I can just firebolt the tree to knock it over. Or, alternatively, we can all figure out our own ways to get over it without a branch.
I mean, y'all are able to like levitate, float, and all that, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
Looking at where I'm at right now on the street, I think I should be easily able to get cross this river.
I don't like that plan.
I would much rather someone hold you.
Let me check Step of the Wind, what that looks.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. Can we cut to the other group real quick while you guys sort of like settle this? If you want to like text each other and like figure out what you want to do, if you want to make like a little group chat in Discord where you want to talk further, just so we can cut to the other group real quick. Beautiful. Okay. Thank you for your ingenuity, Kirly. Crazy suggestion. Loved it either way. We're gonna cut back to Group A then. Aldo, Draven, and Guinevere. Similarly to Group B, things start to tighten a little bit up in your trajectory as, again, the trees start to coalesce on one another and tighten. The light goes from bright and sunny to all of a sudden dim and a little hazy. Though I will say, I believe Draven has night vision.
Yep.
Aldo's also able to look through Centaurian, who has blind sense.
Oh, yeah, you're familiar, right.
Yep.
And Gwyn is emitting light at all times. So honestly, visibility is not that...
Radiant.
Visibility is not that big of a kicker. You guys do eventually come into, once again, another closed space, though one that's just simply very different. You do hear the rush of flowing water somewhere around you, but not anywhere in this room. Either way, can I get a perception check from all three of you?
A perception? You got it.
13.
21.
Ooh! And then Draven?
4.
What did
I
you
got
get,
a 4.
Draven? First of all, that's crazy. Second of all, that is a crazy question to ask in chat, Kirly. What do you mean? Kirly is Okay, we're gonna get to that later.
I punch Lowen.
You punt Lowen across the river.
That's crazy.
Anyway, okay.
Guys,
so
I have shape water. I'm so sorry I'm in the other party.
I also have an axe.
That's really funny.
I can launch myself with my gun.
Anyway, Draven, you are, I think, given how this sort of started, you're kind of more intent on babysitting these two, so maybe your objective attention to your surroundings might not be as strong. Although you got one eye on the road before you, one eye on your map, and another eye on Centaurian, so you're kind of multitasking a little bit. It's Gwyn who gets the best sense of the room around you. As you like sort of feel your way towards the a little bit forward, you find yourself almost stepping on something that looks incredibly sharp. You see that a bunch of larger trees are sort of like branching out from the sort of walls of this little like room for all intents and purposes, and thorned roots are like all over the floor, along with a couple of like mossy rocks that seem to be like cropping up in what is otherwise a sea of needles. What the hell is going on in chat?
It's just like Kirly was like, "What's your AC?" It's 17, and then it's like showing bark skin, which is like if the AC is lower than 17, it's now 17. It's like, I don't need that.
Actually, for the legacy rules, it's 16.
All right, setting that aside. Sorry. Setting that aside. Do I need to put you in a breakout room right now, guys? Okay, all right. So, Gwyn, you are looking out and you see what it looks like effectively an ocean of really uncomfortable, painful-looking thorns scattered all about the floor. You do see a couple of vines hanging up from like sort of the ceiling formed from these trees that are like curving above you, and also like this smattering of rocks before you. I will also say this: how good is Gwyn's sense of smell?
That is a great question. I've never thought of that.
We're gonna forget that girl has no nose. And
yeah.
Just...
Do you see one?
Aidan, what's going on?
I was gonna say Centaurian has advantage on scent checks.
Ooh. Okay, so in that case,
sound checks. My bad. It's auditory. It's bat.
Oh, not Flactor.
Yo, that bat's got a fucking sniffer, dog.
Quick! Aldo, I need you to smell that.
The most congested, like, you've heard in your life.
Oh, no.
Anyway, I'm gonna say on that, on a pretty good roll, you smell something that's like, it's hard to put a name to it, but there's this looming like must in the air that almost feels like if pollen had a scent. It's very faint and it doesn't really do a whole lot more than cause your eyes to water a little. But there's something strong coming from maybe a little deeper or like close to this particular area of the mystery dungeon. You also, last note, you still hear that whistling a little closer ahead, maybe almost in the next room further, like a room or two.
All right, guys. Is it really polleny or is that just me?
Picturing a druddigon with like the red like crying eyes, like, oh no, I don't really notice.
Is there an effect happening on us currently? Like,
it is not an effect. It's more so just like this sort of like it's on the precipice of affecting you more than just like a little bit of watery eyes, but like not quite.
Would it be enough to know if this is poison or not?
You're welcome to make an investigate check in order to discern this.
I think that's a good use of all those turns.
All right, make a nature check for me. We're gonna call this DC 15.
Okay. That is a 15 exactly.
Great. Okay. You can identify these. You inhale and you.
I have to like blow my nose, and then
at the cost of a little bit of like your eyes being to water. At the cost of a little bit of like a rush that almost feels a little feverish. You know that these are like the faintest remnants of powerful spores that seem to be coming from ahead. They don't seem to be super strong right now, especially given you don't like your exact vicinity. You have a feeling that inhaling these spores a little more directly might not be the best for.
Would kind of asking out of game. Would Aldo get a feeling that this is poison type damage? Because Aldo's immune to poison type damage.
I'm not sure on a 15. I'm not sure I can answer that specifically, but you cannot rule out poison.
Got it.
You know what spores can do, and poison is definitely an option.
Got it.
I don't want to get perished, guys.
I don't have a lot of ideas. I'm not gonna lie, guys.
I have a sort of for the exploration actions. I have two things. I kind of want to investigate where the vines are coming from.
Yeah, sure. Get that. Make a perception. That'll be investigation, I think.
Okay.
So that is so both Aldo and Draven have half an exploration action left.
13.
Great. Okay. There's the trees are kind of like creating this sort of like arc over you. So there are like a bunch of like sort of like long trees and logs over, which the vines seem to be dangling from. They don't seem super like. You're not sure how well they'll hold, but like you certainly can try holding on to one if you want. They're pretty thick, so you think that maybe the lightest of the three of you. This is now that I realize a pretty heavy party.
Yeah.
That might be able to. That might be able to work. Sorry, losing it. That is an effervescent body of water. Anyway,
It is an object.
I have an idea, and I already don't like the idea I'm about to say it out loud.
There's nothing wrong with saying an idea. What is it?
Draven, what if you threw me through the vines?
You
I
want
think
me
it
to
would
throw
clear
you?
them. I think it would clear them. Like roll me. Like just like kind of threw me. I went into my shell.
I could just launch some armor through. That might do the trick too.
Don't take this from me, Charles.
Alright.
I mean, I was planning on clearing some of these out anyways. If you want to clear a path with your own body, feel free.
I do.
okay, so you are suggesting that Draven, Aldo's going to go in his shell, and Draven is going to roll the shell across this path. Okay.
You want a fastball special? You get a fastball special.
We're going to count this as a clear action for both of you. So this is going to use up the remaining half. What's your AC, Aldo, when you're in your shell?
I don't have a different AC for if I'm in my shell or not, do I?
I don't know, do you? Because we're going off of turtle rules, which I think
you did. That was not in my character sheet.
Oh, that was kind of what I was thinking, though. Okay, whatever. We'll call this DC 17.
I will also say I can always also throw in a shield, and then it becomes 22.
Okay, but you're not going to want your AC to be higher in this case.
Wait,
so we'll call it a 17.
Lower.
We'll call it a 17. Is that okay?
But why would it be? Why would?
We don't have exact. If we don't have exact rules for the time being, then we're going to stick with what we have for now, and we can address that later. So if Aldo's going to go in his shell, I'm going to say that Draven is going to need to make an athletics check with a DC of 17. If you have what means of like making those checks a little easier, then you're welcome to. But this is going to be a athletic strength check with a DC of 17.
That's gonna be a 23.
Great. So, Draven, do you just push like you?
I think it's almost like a bowl.
Like a bowling ball. He's bowling with Aldo.
Here. Let me just two hands.
I am just watching this in in stunned.
God. So
guys, I wouldn't Aldo be
first
thrown
time I've
for
had to
so
throw
long.
someone.
So I'm just gonna give you an audio visual for this one.
Nice cock.
Andy.
Anyway, As you launch Aldo from one side of the room to another, it mows down a whole pathway's worth of thorns and spikes in a straight line before Aldo collides with a tree on the other side. And Aldo, you are going to unfortunately take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you
auto heal it with Abjur's ward. It's gone.
You careen directly into a tree and like everyone. I think like from elsewhere in the tree, as Lowen, Kirly, and Icarus are like Rube Goldberging their way across the river, they hear a tree like shake in the distance. Yes.
What is happening?
Quinn's just sitting there like,
oh god.
Is Aldo good?
I'm fine. Aldo's like, thanks.
Aldo, you're not
like he's never been drunk before, but this is the closest thing he can imagine to being drunk. He's like,
great. Okay, with that,
I don't even know how I can even use my turn.
A clear pathway. Ash, look at the actions. I promise you, there is an easy solution.
No, I'm saying in character. I'm stunned.
With that, Gwen and Draven, give me dexterity saving throws because you have made a solid path, from one side of the room to another.
Dexterity saving throw.
Do I get advantage on this because of danger sense? Because it's traps and spells you can see. Does this count as a trap?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it's like spiky floor. Yeah. All right.
6.
Hold on. Let me. Dex. Eight.
Great.
Good thing I had advantage on that though, because one of those was a nat 1.
Ooh. Great. So this is about you're walking about give or take 30 feet from one side to another. So you both take 6 piercing damage as a caltrop rules. As you guys are still ow, 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 but not nearly as intensely.
This is so uncomfortable.
I'm hating every moment of this.
Meanwhile, Aldo's sitting on the other side
I love my friends.
Okay, so you've made it to the other side. The way forward lies ahead. Gwen, anything you want to do with your EA now that you're pretty much free to do whatever?
Yeah. I'm going to. What am I gonna do? You know what? Can I scout?
For what exactly? Because there's no present danger in this room now that you've basically cleared it.
So there's no present danger. I'm still a little worried about the pollen. I want to see if I can figure out where it's coming from.
Sure. We're gonna call that a nature check then.
Nature, you got it.
We're gonna call this DC 16.
Okay. That's 10.
Yeah. You can tell it's somewhere it's gotten stronger the deeper you've gotten in. So the math is mathing on that end. Other than that, you're not really sure what you can do other than hold your breath. But with all that decided, as we get a little deeper into the forest, we're going to call this a DC 15 survival check. So let's make those to end off this turn. We're going to hop back to Team River.
Real quick question.
Yo.
Would enhanced ability give me advantage on these checks if I give myself was it Al's wisdom or something like that?
You can use a spell as a free action, so if you would like to.
Great. I want to cast enhanced ability.
Yeah, nice. Keep track of those spell slots that you guys are using.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 17.
Great, that's a pass.
Great.
I got an 8.
What do you get? What do you get, Aldo? 14? No. Okay.
No.
So that is our first fail, unfortunately, of the. So, first of all, Gwen and Draven, that hurt. Ow. You guys keep moving forward, and you find yourself even though y'all can see pretty well in the darkness, it is getting harder and harder for you to discern where to go, especially when pathways are not being made super clear. You do have to stop here and there every now and then in order to address the prescient injuries that Drayden and Guinevere have suffered, or to recalibrate. Your progress does continue, but a little more slowly at this point. We're gonna cut back to team fucking what did you decide to do?
Okay.
I have to know.
We have a question.
Hi.
How wide is this river?
15 feet, 20 feet.
Beautiful. So based on what math I could figure out from rules, Lowen's long jump is 13 feet, and he can double that with Step of the Wind to 26 feet.
Okay, perfect.
So I think he'll just like get on like a high enough branch and with his little body get a good running start, and just gonna like with his like focus, very like monk meditative mind, just like and just going to jump over the river.
Great. So what about Icarus and Kirly? Are y'all gonna opt to levitate?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna need dexterity saving throws from all three of you guys. This is gonna be a DC 14.
If Icarus is dematerialized, is he going to take damage from Aspen?
Let me double check real quick, because
Yeah.
I want to say the rule.
It's like slashing, piercing, bludgeoning, but this is like environmental damage.
And also very much not any of those. So I'm gonna say no, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't want to be liquefied.
Oh no!
What do you get, Kirly?
7.
Oh, okay, that's a fail.
I got 15.
That is a pass.
What is it? Dex save?
Yes.
12.
Okay, great. So the good news is that you all do cross. However, Kirly and Icarus, you guys are going to take 11 acid damage. Lowen, that is going to be halved to 6. As the fumes of the river like sting against your skin, ever so slightly scorch your fur, sort of like catch the tips of your dress, Kirly. The good news is you guys do make it to the other side of the river pretty cleanly otherwise.
Icarus is instantly gonna drink his orange brew.
You're gonna use your... Okay, so have you... do you have an action to expend in order to do so?
Oh. No,
'Cause
because
you did-
we did.
I investigated, right?
Oh, so you have half an
Oh,
action
half.
left. Okay, so you
Yeah.
can consume your orange brew.
And what am I rolling?
That is just a flat 10 hit points.
Oh, okay.
So you almost regain all of your hit points back.
Goodbye, orange brew.
Yeah. Keep in mind that is the only one that you have, so...
Can I cast Cure Wounds on myself?
Yeah, you can do that.
Cool. Then I do that.
Great. Okay, you roll for that real quick. Is there anything... Because, okay, Icarus has used all of his stuff. I believe Kirly and Lowen each have half an action left. If I'm not...
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly. So do you guys want to do anything with that, or do you guys just want to move forward?
I don't know if there's much to do that I can do. Does Kirly have anything that she's looking to do?
Healing myself.
I can't do an aid action, I guess, to that.
What do you want to aid with exactly?
I would just, if there was an exploration action that Kirly was looking to do.
Gotcha.
Like I might just aid that,
Okay,
but
you
I'm
said
not sure. Huh?
15.
Oh, Kirly?
I rolled to Cure Wounds. I got 8.
Cool. Get those hit points back. If y'all have nothing left to do, then the last thing left to do is to make the next navigation check. This is going to be, as before, DC 15.
Well, good job, everyone.
We made it work. All things considered.
Find it out. Not unscathed.
What do you get?
15!
Yay!
Nat 20!
Ooh!
That's great because Icarus rolled a 10.
Okay, Icarus, you're still like the Orin brew doesn't quite go down super smooth, so you're a little distracted by that, like those weird aftertaste. Lowen is locked the fuck in, and with combined help from Kirly, y'all make a good amount of progress forward.
Icarus's words have sunk in, and it's like, no, I'm in it. I'm in it.
Yeah, with a nat 20, the DC will be going down for the next room.
Let's go.
So let us cut back to Team A real quick. I'm just gonna turn the music down ever so slightly. In character talk amongst yourselves for just a second. Aldo, Draven, Gwyn.
I think I still have a thorn stuck in my foot. I keep walking on it, and it's like
a little like slimy purple hand appears. I'm like, I can get that for you. It's a mage hand. Well, this is gonna be.
You know, with all this armor I create, you think I'd have invested in like leg armor? I don't know why I haven't. I'm gonna be completely honest.
That'd be an interesting investment. Yeah.
Just make little knee pads.
Yeah, or just like boots or something.
Boots could be cool.
Yeah, I mean, my leg's a freaking cylinder. It's not that hard to make.
All right. As you guys go a little deeper into the forest, darker and darker it only seems to spiral as you're starting. After a little bit of delay, you're starting to find your way a little better. You've gotten back on track essentially. That whistling never went away though, and as you enter this sort of what is it? You start to enter this another room. Can I get a perception check across everyone in this group? DC 15?
What's the DC?
15.
You said
Oh, I got an
investigation.
11.
Perception.
Oh, perception. Ooh, is good.
I got a 12.
23.
Driven?
Oh, 11.
Okay. So general whereabouts. You're coming into an area that is a little brighter. You know that it's brighter because there are mushrooms glowing all around the area. You see some of them are like pulsating ever so slightly, glowing with like this faint blue, almost like moonlight. Some others in like pinks and yellows. It is honestly quite a sight to behold. It's very pretty, especially against the faint like dimness of the sort of grove that you find yourself in. You hear rushing water as you look below and you see that though not quite as big as a ravine, it's more like a little pocketed stream of sorts, with acidic water is sort of floating kind of at your feet. It's more so like it's looking like a more shallow part of the stream that seems like you might need to jump over. It's a little wider than it is deep, that are sort of like flowing around the trees and whatnot. You also on the what do you get, Gwen, exactly? Because you rolled well.
23.
On a 23. So
Did I get my math right?
all three of you hear that the whistling stops. But instead of silence or whatever you're fearing, you actually hear very quiet singing, almost someone singing to themselves. Some you hear very quietly, and we work and play and get through the day like a great big family. Bum, bum. Sort of very like absent-mindedly. Gwen, you sort of turn over around one of the trees and try and get a better look. You see the shadow of a Pokemon, sort of like rooting about, looking like they're rooting about the mushrooms of sorts. You're not close enough to be able to like really see what they look like. You see they're humanoid-ish though, with a sort of stout body and a long, like somewhat bulbous tail that's swinging around. On a 23, you also can sense that the spores are near pungent.
I'm gonna whisper to the party so that whoever this person is like does not know we're here. All right, I think there's someone here who's just like foraging. I think they're where the spores are coming from. So I think if we just like steer clear of that area, hopefully it should be fine. I mean, they don't seem like hostile. They're just getting mushrooms, but like, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, we should probably just leave them alone.
Yeah.
But if we startle them, they may attack.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We should leave them alone. Just like go around.
Yes, but what I'm saying is the fact that on my etiquette book, it says it's rude to startle a person. So I think it'd be better if we just go, "Hey." Did I do that?
Ow!
Do you say that any louder, Aldo?
No, he's
Damn
whispering.
it. Fuck.
I was totally gonna go.
For comedic effect, can we say he did? No.
Hey.
Hey, girly.
Did I do that right?
appreciate. Yep, good job. Appreciate your commitment to, being nice to folks because
The
it's
bit.
something I aspire to. But I think we should just let this guy be because I doubt he wants company. If I was out doing something like this, I'd want to be on my lonesome.
What does your etiquette book say on approaching strangers? Because generally that's not a good idea.
Yeah, that's the other big thing. This is a stranger.
That's fair. I guess. How do you propose we sneak around with
I point to like the streams of acid crossing the ground. But they get pretty hard to traverse quietly if we,
Right.
step in it.
I have a question out of game. So I know we flavor a lot of stuff of if I can control my armor and like kind of like move it around freely. Would I be able to use my armor to make bridges? Or is that too much?
I don't know if you'd have enough like length for that.
That's the big thing.
My only like actual inhibition here, because I do actually really like the idea. I think that would be a cool visual. I If I let you do that, I could let you do almost fucking anything with that armor, and that might be a really bad can of worms to open.
I will say,
But I can maybe like I'll think about it. I'll think about it, and I'll come back to you with a check.
That's good.
Aldo.
I can also freeze water. Like I have the control water cantrip.
Mm.
However, that'll require me casting with verbal components.
You can stealth it, attempt to stealth it in order to like make it quietly. That would probably be closer to like
Oh,
charisma
it actually
than
doesn't have
stealth.
verbal components. It only has somatic.
Even better.
Great. So are we gonna try to stealth this?
Why not?
I think that's the plan.
I think that's probably the way to go.
Do we still get turns, or is it our turn to be like stealthy?
So first off, I'm going to count you using shape water on the stream as a whole, we're gonna call it a clear action. So that's half of your EA. Um, I think that's the only one that's really been used from here, because no one else is asked to make any other checks. So Aldo has half an exploration action left for this area. From here, without using any exploration actions, I'm going to ask for a series of rolls from each of you guys in order to like finesse this, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So first of all, I'm going to need we're going to call it a dexterity saving throw. As Aldo, you very quietly try and like freeze the river. I'm going to still need dexterity saving throws from all of you guys. We're going to call this DC 10.
I got a 13.
Okay, good.
Do I still get advantage on this or no?
Yes, you do. What do you get, Aidan?
19.
Although
I only have a +1, guys. I thought I was gonna fail that real hard.
You say the DC was 10?
Yes.
Cool. I got a 10.
Great. Okay, so you all succeeded on that. I'm going to say that all of you still take 4 acid damage each, because you guys are stepping on frozen acid. Unfortunately, acid doesn't get any less acidic just because it's in a different shape. I'm going to go out on a limb. So there's still a little bit of a sting or a burn, but it could have been a lot worse should you have tried to wade through it unfettered. Given that you guys did not suffer serious damage, I'm going to give you all a chance to roll stealth. Hmm?
Hmm.
you guys to roll stealth. This against this person in particular, that's going to be DC 16.
Aldo doesn't take any damage. His ward does, his abjurer's ward.
Okay.
So I think I could flavor that as like me like cushioning my
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got an 18.
Okay, so that passes.
12.
Ooh. Okay. And Aldo?
I'm not rolling because I'm
still making a stealth check to not be detected by the person.
Aldo's not getting burnt. His ward is.
Okay, yes, you are still going through this area with a massive shell, so I'm going to assume that you would still have to sneak past this person regardless. Getting the save would
7.
Yeah, just to be clear, if you guys did not pass that, you would have rolled the stealth with disadvantage, because you would have likely vocally reacted to being burned by acid. So okay, 2 of you fail.
Stealth Master Gwen.
I'm going to need one more check from you guys, or actually, I'm going to need one more check from Guinevere and Draven, as you all. It is a very clumsy like stagger through. You guys are very much trying, but too many branches being stepped on, not to mention Aldo's shell makes it really hard to be stealthy. Ultimately, it is that concrete sliding grind that
against ice.
Yeah, that cap causes this person to suddenly. Is anyone out there? Oh, be careful! I'm going to need Constitution saving throws from both Gwyn and Draven. This is going to be a DC 12.
Hey.
Unnatural 20.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh my god, I'm rolling like shit today. It's a good thing my con saving throw is +7. 13.
Okay, so you both save. Great. All 3 of you, a bunch of things happen at once. You hear the sound of something metallic clang to the ground as you see like the shadow stagger back. You all feel, and you do notice it is not necessarily spores emanating from this person, but as you step closer towards the entrance, those like pungent spores fill your senses. Aldo, this does nothing to you. However much you inhale, these don't really seem to be having much an effect on you. Gwyn and Draven, y'all are able to catch your breath and hold it enough to react in time to ensure that you guys are not poisoned. As there's a moment of like serious pause before you hear finally this person speak up again. Are you all right? All of you?
Oh, yeah,
I think we're okay, yeah. Do you know where those are coming from?
Okay, all right, that's good. It's not me, I promise. It probably doesn't look great, admittedly.
I assume it's all the mushrooms.
You see someone steps forward. You get a clear view of this Pokemon. This is someone who the comment on the spores coming from this person now seem to make a lot more sense, as this is a Pokemon of a rather fungal complexion.
Really?
You see it's a fucking Breloom. What the fuck do you guys want from me? Like,
yeah,
little guy.
You don't think I wasn't going to like incorporate my favorite Pokemon into? You see this Breloom pulls out a gun.
Hey.
You see this Breloom. It doesn't seem to be much younger than any of you guys. You see that that he's wearing a sort of like faded like pastel crimson bandana. Has a couple of satchels hung over his arms. You see he's got like a bag full of like what look like to be glowing like a glowing pouch, and clearly full of like some of the mushrooms that you are seeing in the area. You're also seeing that a little like trowel is now sitting at his feet. He dropped it out of like concern. I am so sorry if I startled all of you. Are you all adventurers? I don't think I've happened upon any of you.
Well, yes, we're apprentices of the guild.
Oh, you're the new ones then?
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Right, of course.
We were actually worrying about startling you, since you seem to be doing your work out here, and we didn't want to like freak anybody out. Our last experience was not nearly as pleasant.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me at all. I'm here for just a foraging for my apothecary. So sorry to startle you at all. I imagine that you're all here for the first trial for the coven then. Oh, I remember when I was out there. It was not pretty. Where are my manners? Finian is my name. I live in Remnant here.
Name.
Pleasure to meet you.
Of course,
Nice to
yes.
meet
And thanks for the warning on the spores. And
Oh,
the
yes,
shrooms and everything.
I will say, easy misunderstanding. It's not me. I am simply out here. I can type it in the chat real quick. That's how you spell it.
Idiot.
I theoretically I could admit them, but that's not me. There's some stuff going on later in the forest. I don't think it's probably not my place to say. But regardless, I'm simply here collecting resources. By all means, pass through. I don't want to halt you any further.
Thank you kindly.
Just be careful while you're out there. Well, I'm a grass type. They don't really do a whole lot on me in general. And you seem like the metallic type. He glances at Aldo, so you might be fine against the more poisonous ones, but you're not going to be immune to all of them. So just be on the lookout for that. Yes, just be wary. I suppose they can have a myriad of peculiar effects on those, depending on how much you inhale. It's I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. It's weird, scary, frankly.
You say you're an apothecarian. You said you're an apothecarian.
Well, kind of, yes. I'm Yarrow's apprentice in Remnant. She's the one who runs the apothecary, but I've been there for a few months now, so.
Wonderful. Maybe we can come visit you after.
Yes, well, I would love to.
I'll just look through the etiquette book again, trying to figure out what to say.
Yes, by all means.
No option of "Hey girl, hey" did not go through.
By all means, we can talk further when you're not in the middle of your first trial as apprentices. I do not want to inhibit you further, especially if you're trying to get there faster rather than safer. But best of luck to all of you. And if you're passing through and you're dealing with, if you're addled at all, if I'm still here, I might be able to be of some assistance.
Very much, Finian.
Of course, yes. It was a pleasure to meet you all. I hope to see you at the apothecary at some point.
I'll make sure to stop by.
Of course. Best of luck, you all. Best get back to work.
See you around.
As you head forward, so there was very little done as far as exploration actions go. So Gwyn and Draven, y'all have free reign as to what you want to do.
All right.
Get the mushrooms.
I was gonna say, I assume one of us will forage and the other can navigate.
I don't want to be like, how good is your survival? But
Good.
okay, yeah, you forage.
You got it.
forage.
I'll forage.
I will aid forage.
Great. Okay, so roll that with advantage,
right.
Gwyn. Draven, what are you
Got
going to do?
I'll do a navigate check. Just
Okay,
for
so
the
that
sake
first one
of...
was a 6. The second one is a... See, it's 16 plus 22.
Okay, if you have to leave soon, Kirly, then yeah, we can. Okay, sorry, gonna put that on hold real quick. I just called you Kirly, not Laura. I'm sorry.
It works.
So here's my question to everyone. This session is by no means over, technically speaking. How late do people want to go? Because this can be a part 1, part 2 situation.
I was gonna say my cutoff is 11.
Okay.
I would do a
11
cutoff
is
of 11
reasonable.
at the latest.
Yeah.
Tomorrow
Okay.
is
Yeah,
the
'cause I
first
got
day
work
of
tomorrow.
classes for
Real, yeah. So
Oh.
this can sort of be like a part 1, part 2 situation. We can leave part 2 to next time then.
Awesome.
Great, yeah. Then with all that out of the way, so Gwyn, let's get back to, well, I'll try and wrap before 10:30, we will see. Gwyn, what did you roll on the forage check?
I rolled a 22.
Lovely. Okay. I'm going to select another seed for you then.
Hooray! More seeds.
Can I also be using maybe casting spells like cantrips?
Sure, yeah.
How many of those could I do?
There's no real limit right now.
Great, my ward goes back up to full.
Great. Okay.
Thank God I didn't hit Finia with the seed that makes you blind.
God.
I just want to say, hey girl, hey, but y'all said no.
Great. So you got the joy seed, which I'm going to say having rolled it higher than a 20, you're able to identify this right off the bat. Add this to your inventory. The joy seed, when consumed, gives you 5 temporary hit points.
So now.
Yeah, and you may consume that anytime outside of combat or as a bonus action during combat.
Gotcha.
Great. All right. So to cap off that little section, can we get a little navigation check from everyone?
You got it.
This is going to be a DC 16.
Ooh, I just rolled good.
Oh, I still have advantage on this.
That's 18 plus survival. That's a
24. Do I get advantage because took the
Yes, you
navigate?
do. You do.
I still have enhanced ability, so I roll 17.
Great. So that's a pass.
1 in 400. It was the same number. 17.
Okay, cool. And then Gwen?
I got a 24.
Oh wow, that is a 100% success rate. Maybe it's the first sign of like a voice of anyone other than your own and your teammates in like hours.
That isn't trying to kill us.
Yeah, exactly. But despite being able to take Finian's warning and be a little more careful as to how close you're going to be approaching, you're able to make really strong progress forward. So 17, 17, 24. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to do some girl math real quick.
Hell yeah. Girl math.
Okay. Lovely. Can I get one last navigation check from Lowen, Kirlia, and Icarus? This is going to be a DC 14. I'm for the sake of timing, I'm going to count the 2 parts of the river arc as separate sections because so much time was spent there. All good. What do you get, Laura?
10.
Okay.
What did I before?
Sorry, what was the check? I totally was not paying attention. Sorry.
Navigation 14.
Mm. 19.
Lovely.
And that's survival, right?
Yes.
10.
Yeah, okay, that's a little tough. So the last stretch of this sort of mystery dungeon proves to be a little troublesome as far as finding your way again, as it seems like trying to actually sort of navigate from here, it's getting darker, it's getting harder to see. There are a lot more branching paths, and you're running into more dead ends. Still, though, with Icarus ahead, you are able to continue on forward, albeit losing some of that momentum that you started out with. Can I have you guys talk amongst yourselves for a second as I find the next music track real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and are you quite all right? Did I?
Mm-hmm.
I apologize.
I'm doing it. Sorry, say again. What?
I apologize if I was a little harsh. Earlier I didn't intend
Oh no, you
to
were.
be.
You weren't at all. You're correct. I needed to be more focused on surroundings and not on. I was being too picky about the path when there was nothing really to be. I was doing busy work when I could have been doing some real like surveying of the area. You're right about that. Don't apologize for that.
Well, it's all right. It's our first time, but I appreciate you taking what I said seriously.
Of course. Please. I mean, this is the
Or
work.
I did not hear you at all.
I was gonna say I'm sorry, I almost paralyzed you.
We were coming up with
to Lowen
ideas. It's
time.
all good.
Well, thankfully that did not come to pass, and we're not burned by acid.
As you guys are kind of walking through this area that's a little less cumbersome, the river seemed to be like the biggest of your obstacles. I'm going to need a Constitution saving throw from Kirly and Lowen. This is going to be DC 12.
It was con, you said? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
15.
That's a pass.
This dice is so pretty and yet hard to read. 22.
Great, so you both pass. On that note, can I get perception checks from all three of you?
Um, 11.
18.
So Icarus, you got an 18?
Mm-hmm.
So inhaling spores is a little weird when you're a ghost and also immune to poison. However, Lowen and Kirly, you all pick up that this is this presence in this air. Kirly, you're able to identify it right from the bat, but not exactly what kind it is. You just know, yeah, that's spores. Oh, that's spores. That's spores in the mystery dungeon. Whereas Icarus, you can feel poison in the air when you're there. You know what poison in the air feels like. And though you are uninhibited by it, by default, you can sense that there's something giving off this sort of presence looming ahead. Not too far away.
There's what do British people say? Poison afoot.
There's poison afoot.
There's poison afoot.
Yes.
Hey, what?
Here there be poison.
Elementary. I'm going to look ahead to see if I can find the souls. Be careful. Cover your noses.
Of course.
And your mouth looks like Kirly. And can he use the scout action to look for the source?
Yeah, totally. Give me a perception check.
Would I be able to do? Alright. I've got a 6 + 6 in perception if you want me to go scout ahead.
Yes,
you both can do it.
Yeah. Or I can. I mean, would investigate also work?
You can't really see it. At least right in front of you.
That's fair.
You see, there's something ahead to look at.
Yes, it's the source of the spores. Be careful.
I'll be careful, and I'm actually gonna I'll do a scout check. I'll try to get on the top of trees to get a better vantage point.
Great. Laura, you were saying something.
I have a spell. What was it? Detect poison.
Ooh.
Duration, you can sense the presence and location of poisons, poisonous creatures, and diseases within 30 feet of you. You can also identify what kind of poison, poisonous creature, or disease in each case.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
Spicy.
We're going to count that as the scout check because that is kind of the purpose that it's serving. That is an automatic success. Really good use of a spell.
Let's go.
So
yeah, nice.
With that discerned,
my teammates.
Kirly, how does Kirly cast the spell? What sort of happens when she's doing so?
See, I can't think of that one because it's all in the air. I'm just picturing her sniffing like a freaking dog, going.
That's spores.
Like spores.
You.
You
have
so Kirly,
spores?
you sort of trying to reach towards the air around you. The smell of rot is not one that's unfamiliar to you. So being able to sort of sense that presence and where it's coming from, it's almost like second nature, as this sort of this sort of Arcadian magic sort of flows through you, and you sort of like reach out. The poison is near everywhere here. It is all about the air, but it seems that where it's sort of coming from are these powerful poisonous spores that are being emitted by a creature, not a plant. You're able to discern this. It is something that is lying ahead somewhere. You can discern that these are naturally produced, but that's about as far as you can go. You can't exactly identify the exact type of Pokemon it's coming from. It seems to be a singular source, given the nature of how uniform the spores are, and sort of the consistency in the air, for lack of a better word.
Do I get to relay this information to
Yeah, totally.
Okay. All of that.
And do we have like a direction where it is?
Yeah. Unfortunately, the closer you get to the further you move into the forest, the more prescient it becomes.
No, I gotta get that.
I can scout ahead and see if it's a creature, perhaps I can talk to it.
I guess if you are the one that's most
It
that's
doesn't affect
immune
me
to
at
all
all.
this. I was thinking if that doesn't work, we could try like luring it somewhere away, like maybe. My first thought was like making like if I could go up on a tree, throw something far away, and maybe like make it investigate off the path.
Well, I also have minor illusion to simply make something happen.
Very true, very true.
We can either talk to it or try to lure it away.
Do you want me to maybe like do you want to like maybe get to a place to minor illusion? Well, I'm not sure. Maybe we should just like try and lure it away, and if that doesn't work, then we can try and talk to it.
Alright. Tanya, I assume if I cast this cantrip, I can still use...
Yes, I will say it's not exactly around the corner. You still have like a fair amount of dungeon to go before you reach the source.
Mm-hmm. So would we have to go through another room? Or...
Probably, yeah.
Alright. If that's the case, and I assume that in character, right, well, I think we should just try to get there and take the navigate action.
Great, okay. Let's get one last navigation check then.
I haven't used my action yet. I guess I'll just use the navigate action as well.
Go ahead, yeah. So that's going to be a finally DC 15. Lowen and Icarus both have advantage.
Beautiful.
Okay.
We need this.
11.
Ooh, 17.
Okay, that's a pass.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, one of those was a 1. The other one. That was a 9. Jeez.
Oh, that's tough. Laura, what were you saying?
Are the spores doing damage?
No, were able to prevent yourself from being poisoned at the very least, for the time being.
Excellent.
Great. Tough going this last stretch. It's clear that it's getting complicated. Icarus, you're keeping your notes with the map as to the best of your ability. It's rough. It's not quite the paths ain't pathing, for lack of a better term.
The paths ain't
You're able to
pathing.
carry forward, but again, it could be a lot cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to cut back to Group A then. Group A, who reached the clearing first? Aldo, Draven, Guinevere. After pushing through thistles and ducking through vines, tracing and retracing your steps through floor after floor, pushing through the density of these trees, all of a sudden, you come into a clearing. And immediately you have to shield your eyes. At the center of this massive, almost circular little grove that has opened up, kind of like this sort of yawning part of the inside of the forest that has suddenly become so much more expansive, feeling more like an actual place than a dungeon, are is this massive shining oak of brilliant, brilliant glimmering light. I promise you, you won't have to if you think about what to do for like 2 seconds. But anyway.
Cool. Sorry.
As I was about to say, it's always when I'm not talking. I don't want to see
this Friday.
Thieves this Friday. Anyway.
We don't want to see Den of Thieves.
No,
we can see it together.
No, I don't. Anyway.
Why do you hate Den of Thieves?
I like start choking you through the screen.
Den of Thieves killed my grandma.
Because Den of Thieves killed my grandma, okay? Now leave me alone. Anyway. Terrible bit. Anyway. Towering over all of you, what seems like, for a tree that seems to go almost like miles into the sky, though you know it couldn't possibly be that tall, laden with a almost like bronze bark, with a few like holes carved into the trunk. Up above, you see the glow of what has to be hundreds of shining golden and silver leaves. You all step forward and watch as a faint breeze brushes against your body. A single leaf is torn off of the branch that it's tied to, begins fluttering to the ground, and upon hitting it, dissipates into dust. These leaves are hanging as low as about 15-20 feet off the ground. I will also say, I'm going to need a Constitution save from Gwyn and Draven once more. DC 14.
Ooh, that's good. That's I believe, 19.
18.
Passed? Okay, you both pass. Ooh. The spores are, and Aldo, you're able to like tell, even though they're not affecting you, the spores are at their strongest here. You can't quite discern the source. By the way, we are out of exploration mode currently, so exploration actions are set aside for the time being. The spores are at their most prescient, though you can't quite see where it's coming from right this moment. Nevertheless, you are the first to arrive, as the leaves are here for your taking.
Mage hand.
Lovely. Okay. So that's how you're going to do it? Great. So are you just going to get your own, or are you going to get...
I mean, if anyone says, like, get one while I'm at it. But...
Yeah, I'll probably need one, since I can't really reach.
Well, let me make sure this doesn't destroy it with, like, if magic touches it.
Yeah, I'm going to call this a sleight of hand check.
Got it.
So we'll call this DC 10.
Reads off my dexterity or my spell save modifier?
You can use your spell save modifier for this one.
Sorry. One thing that Aldo does well is that. 26.
Yeah, fuck.
Aldo, yeah.
With like what does your mage hand, by the way, look like? I don't know if I asked before.
I think it's just a slimy little like.
Ew.
Yeah.
It's a goofy little guy.
Yeah, you very carefully, with near pinpoint precision, pluck 1, 2, 3 glowing shiny leaves off of the tree, handing each one to your fellow teammates. Aldo, Draven, Guinevere, you can add the shiny leaves to your inventory, 1 each. Bless you. As you are doing so, how are you guys feel? Like, what's the vibe amongst you three?
Aldo's doing great.
Sorry, what would you say? My mom just
How's everyone doing now that you've collected your leaves?
I mean, Draven was worried he was going to have to physically climb the tree, so...
Yeah.
And we ran into a person that we assumed was going to be bad, and they were actually very pleasant, so he's doing pretty good. He's feeling pretty good about himself.
Yeah, it's like Gwen's also feeling pretty good, but like there is a part of her that's worried that they're the first, because it's like, oh man, is everyone else all right?
Aldo's like, I'm glad we're first. I hope they're all suffering.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a Photoshop ad. I don't want to use AI. Shut the fuck up.
Big fan of AI over here.
Mm.
Oh.
As you guys grab the leaves, are you going to stick around or are you going to turn around and leave?
I think Aldo is going to first put his leaf into a shell.
Yeah.
Yeah, leaf in the bag.
I think I'm gonna take 2 like smaller parts of the armor and like cup around it to make a little barrier.
Lovely.
Have it
You guys
float next to me.
stow your leaves away, and all of a sudden you hear footsteps behind you. You almost feel yourselves coming to arms for just a moment before you see familiar shapes emerging from the wood. First that of Lowen's furry little body, then Kirly's sort of elegant strut, and finally Icarus swooping from behind them.
We won.
Oh, hey guys.
Good job.
I don't recall it being a race, but congratulations, I suppose.
Yeah, I didn't know. Was it a race?
Was
It was not a race, no.
No.
I don't believe so. I think it's just to get the thing. Pass fail.
Actually, a race.
Seems like it, yeah.
As you guys are sort of conversing near the sort of like near the edge of this sort of almost arena-shaped clearing, you guys hear something. Behind you, where Icarus, Lowen, and Kirly had just emerged, roots begin to form to block off the entrance. I'm going to need a perception check from all 6 of you very quickly. This is going to be a DC 10.
Oh, bro.
Versus before, 25.
Is that a nat 20, Kirly?
Where did it go?
Yay!
Yay!
Huge!
We're back.
I got a 7.
Ball is rolling up the hill.
I got it.
The ball is rolling up!
Okay, so Laura got her first crit of the game, meaning that Aidan is the only person who has not gotten a nat 20 this campaign so far. Raise your hand if you passed.
I did. You can't see my hand, but I did pass. I got a 17.
Kylie and Laura and no one else, really?
I got a 7.
I got a 6.
Oh, I got 25.
All right. So, Lowen, Kirly, and Draven. Icarus, Guinevere, Aldo, your attention is guarded by the sudden this sudden closure of the entrance as these gnarled roots begin to block off the way you all came. Seeing that there are no other exits is a little concerning. Maybe a little more concerning is the sound of skittering atop the tree that draws Kirly, Lowen, and Draven's attention. Light! The 3 of you turn around just in time to see what looks like a large insectoid Pokemon crawling from out of one of the little coves, one of the little holes in the massive tree. Its long, like, white legs tapping disconcertingly against the sort of almost glowing bark of the tree. Big, beady, like almost milky white eyes focused on all of your party, all the party members. Lavender, almost luminescent wings beating vigorously, almost with excitement. And its eyes fixed. Who got a 20 over a 20? One of you did, right? Oh, Kirly got a nat 20. Yeah.
And Kirly got a nat 20.
On a nat 20. Its eyes dart all over around, sees the shiny leaves that have been taken so far, but more so, sees the glow of fire near the entrance. Its eyes fixed on Guinevere. You hear this Pokemon one more time go, light, as a Pokemon that looks very much like this, bigger than any of you can imagine, starts rushing not towards all of you, but towards Guinevere. I'm going to need all of you to roll for initiative. And at that, we are going to end today's session of Echoes of Emergence.
It's a fucking incredible.
Whatever, go my moth.
Go my moth.
Oh my god, I got a 12.
Can you please put initiative in the chat? That would be really great.
Got it.
That session, y'all. We were gonna have combat, but y'all have to go to bed, which is fair.
So I have a question now. The spores that have been around this whole time, have those actually been Venomoth scales?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
Fun.
All right, we're gonna end the recording.